So, hello, Sam here. So, time, of course, finally, right, for the top animes, right? So, I probably made this for a while now, I feel, right? But honestly, I take this very seriously. I actually take this very, very seriously. I've been analyzing, looking at all the animes, right? I've got a bunch of animes, it's a huge amount of animes, right? To actually go through. And I take this list very, very seriously. So what I mean with that is it's several layers on it, right? First of all, before we start here, how much I hate the anime awards and all other kind of awards, Oscars. They're all terrible, right? We all know that. But more so, I think the biggest issue with almost all of those shows, so the obvious things that they're just bad or whatever, but I think the core issue is that they don't really watch the actual shows, right? So the anime awards is a very much clearly where it's like the things that only wins are, the biggest shows, right? That everyone's seen, right? And I'm so tired of having these judges every year that are only like, they see like 1 or 2 animes per season, right? For example, someone like, shot fighting now, someone like Joey the Anime Man, right? Has admitted that he doesn't watch anime anymore. He was like 1 per season, right? That kind of guy, right? His girlfriend was a judge, right? I killed the rest, I think, last year. Doesn't make no sense. They watch like 1 anime together per year, I mean, it's like nothing, right? It's nothing. You have to have someone that has seen the vast amount of animes per season, right? Because there's so many other animes people overlook or whatever. Right? That being said, sure, some of the best animes are still going to be the most popular ones anyway. But that's the first issue. Second issue, and the same thing with video games. I kind of like this system here more now because this helps me more. So if you can have a top 10, of course, we're going to work it down it. But I also feel it is more important because sometimes it's like, what is the difference between, like a number 3 anime or number 5 anime? That actually might be massive. But if you go through like a top 10 list of like the best games or whatever, or best animes and so forth, right? It doesn't always feels like it's a big difference between like 4 and 5 or whatever. But I see it more like Bleach, right? Like if you're top 4, that's like Espada, In Bleach Espada's, right? You're top 4, you're the greatest, strongest, the Espadas are so much better at top 4, right? Than the 5, 6, 7, right? That's why I prefer actually tier lists these days, talking about top game or top and whatever. Because same thing with video gaming, where it's like, no, but these games are actually way better than these other games. Yes, they're all in top 10, but it's like a giant cliff between maybe number 6 and number 7, right? I feel the same thing here with anime. There's some animes that are in this like must-watch category. These are the important animes. Then there are a bunch of blue animes. I feel like, these animes are good. But, I feel it's a lot big difference there. So that to me here, in a way, makes more sense than just doing a top 10 list. But we're talking about more than 10 animes as well as the question. But anyway, let's get started then. So the way I do it, guys, you can see it in the system below, is that I sort every anime by season first, right? So I'd go over like winter, and then I have spring and so forth, right? And then I bubble sort every anime in that season and say which is the best anime per season, right? Then I kind of work my way down there, and then I compare like the top animes per season to each other, right? So for example, last season, one of the best animes was Dan Dan, right? Everyone likes Dan Dan. That's a no spoiler here. Obviously, Dan Dan's gonna be high up. And then I say, okay, maybe Dan Dan is number 1 of that season, right? And I compare it and say, okay, is this better or worse than the previous best anime of, spring or summer then, and so forth. So, we're in the middle of this here now. I think I'm gonna start on that a little bit, where I'm thinking a little bit season-wise, to some extent. But otherwise, I'm just gonna go for it, guys. We're gonna go through all the animes. I'm just kidding. I will definitely ignore some of these shows here. You can see them as trash then. This is mostly a top 10 list, so to speak, right? But let's start then. So I'm gonna say some animes where I put animes in the good category first, and then I will explain whether they go into up or kind of mid, right? So, for example, Hosaki Ganku Girls, right? Gairu, adorable Kaido, pretty decent anime. I didn't love it. I think it was a good anime. I love Gairu's. Nothing beats a Kurugal, right? So I really definitely like the whole team of her being like a sexy Gairu in a cold country. Like I'm from Sweden too, right? A cold country. I know how it is, right? And actually, on a side note, they actually tend to be an issue, right? For the girls that I dated and so on when I was younger, right, in Sweden. Because usually a lot of, women wants to look attractive and they want to have a cool look or whatever, so forth, right? But yeah, if you live in a really cold place, it's like, oh, but do I really want to have a short skirt and so on, right there? It's like an issue. So I like that she's like, a typical Gairu, but she's like, super cold or whatever. So it's kind of cute, it's a good character. But overall, not the best, like, guy anime I see. It's no dress up darling, right? And the other girls were kind of meh. The second girl is good too, the gamer girl. But the third girl is like historical linear girl. She was kind of boring. Yeah, she wasn't adding too much to it. Mom, of course, was the best character. It's always the MILF Gyro is the best character. But decent Gyro animes. I put it in the middle, right? And this probably will stay in the middle. But I feel it's a good example of kind of a good anime. Slightly better than mid, but not like amazing. But all the animes are in that kind of category then. We start, like I said, with the middle part. Another anime like that is... where is it? Rose. I kind of like... The Rose is interesting, okay. Rose for me is like a must-watch. I really love Rose. But, so it's like the wrong way to use Hillimatic, right? Isekai, another world, and the best thing they have Melona. She's a green hair Melona, but I love her, man. Great female badass character training them. But I always say this thing, right? This is like a niche thing, okay? So to be fair here, I will put animes like Healer in good here. Because, this is not an anime that I would even say is better than mid. If you're not into like strong female characters, and I really mean like strong muscular female characters, right? You know what I mean? I think this anime here is, to me, it's like freaking one of the best anime last year, right? But I can really see how you have to have a very niche fetish for muscular tomboy girls. Yeah, if you don't like muscular tomboy girls, this anime is crap. Yeah, like you have to really enjoy that, right? But hello, bro. No, but come on, I told you last week. Sensu was like an okay anime, but. No one seems to care about Sensu. So, I'm gonna binge watch it probably later. But yeah, muscle tomboy girl, good example of an anime that if you like it, you like it, you know what I mean? Like if you're really into it. They have more of those animes, which is like if you have a very like clear idea for it. I guess Ranma is also somewhere up there. I mean, I like Ranma a lot. I'm a big fan of Ranma. It's a remake though, so it's a little bit unfair saying it's the best anime ever. But it's probably one of my at least top 10 last season. But yeah, it's a remake. I mean, I have all the manga was already. I'm obviously biased. It's also good. It's a good remake. It looks great. Some sheep, clearly. Like they remove a lot of boobs and so on from Ranma usually. Yeah, a lot of 3D nipple, right? Honestly. The old anime had Ranma being way more naked. That's one thing was very different in it. But they looked good with the color and so on. But also like... But I don't know, actually I think that was probably one of the best anime last season. It might be up here, it's like kind of in that category. But I do feel like it's like a remake. And here, another anime, also good, kind of the Rose category. Osan training. So, yet another anime that I felt was like, first I was like, then I was like, the more I watched, like, I kind of like Osan now. Basically a guy that is like too old to be a hero, but he starts training in his 30s. And most of the comedy is just like him being way too overpowered, right? Not understanding that he is powerful. He's basically like completely unaware. He's the strongest guy on the planet, basically. So, but yeah, it's like not one of like this mid anime. Uzumaki is absolutely trash. Comment that later. It's not our stuff. It's filling out some of the mid stuff, so you kind of know where I think it's mid, right? Honestly, kind of mid good. Yeah, because yeah, Uzumaki core is utter trash. We'll talk about that later. I feel. Fill the trash pile a little bit later before we go into the top 10s. But yeah, like, God, Uzumaki was so terrible. Like, that was one of the worst things I've seen in my life. One anime that I found disappointed me was Windbreaker, okay? I remember Windbreaker. I didn't like it that much, guys. So, I can talk about it for a long time here, I feel, right? But Windbreaker, honestly, to me, was very disappointing. Because I like this genre, I'm a huge fan of this, like, Yankee delinquent animes. I love Beelzebub and so on, animes. Like, I love the animes we have, like, this, like, half-ass criminal guys fighting, so on, right? Tokyo Revenge, whatever. I like this anime. I like the premise, right? So, but Windbreaker to me was just so boring because even though I liked the whole, okay, we have to have this cool guy fighting, as a part of it, I felt Windbreaker was incredibly weak, okay? You basically just have these, like, somewhat delinquent guys just fighting. And it sounds so simplistic, but yeah, like, there's no storyline. There's, like, immediately it's like a fight, and then they have a bunch of fights, and then they go to this, like, theater and they have more fights. Yeah, and I'm just like, it has to be the least IQ level show I've seen in my life. This honestly might be the dumbest show I've ever seen in my life, like, seriously. Like, it has less storyline than Dragon Ball or whatever. Yeah, they just go and fight all the time. Yeah, there's no storyline. He moves to a new city and he fights people in the street, and then it's like fight, and it's like nothing else happens. And all the characters I found quite dislikable. They have no real personality. They have no time to basically establish who the characters are before they start to fight each other. And if it's a very weird anime to watch, I feel terrible. I think that's mostly a terrible anime because I used to don't care about a single character fighting, right? And the anime also has this massive issue of not really establishing how strong people are, and I mean strong as in what is realistic, right? Are we talking like Beelzebub would have magical powers strong, right? Or are they strong as in Tokyo Revengers, where they're stronger than normal human ace, but they're still humans, right? Where are we? That anime for me is very weird too, because some of the feats are just insanely good immediately, and then later they're much weaker, so it's like the author clearly didn't know what we're doing either. It's kind of like, what am I doing? Who is strong? Yeah, it was very confusing. But just very dislikable character. I think big issue. And they all look the same too. Yeah, terrible, honestly, character design. They all look like this kind of typical shonen pretty guys, all of them. Yeah, it's just terrible. Jesus Christ, man. The anime was very disappointing. Very disappointing. Especially for a guy like me that likes that kind of genre. They usually have like more bias towards it. Same with Bushigiri, whatever that one is here in this pile of animes, because Bushigiri was terrible too. That's a trash anime though, whatever that is. But anyway, what more do we have in before we go into the real terrible? Okay, Master, try Isekai, remake, whatever. I'm not gonna go over all of them, of course, but that's a remake. I already reviewed the first one, right? So, Parry, also one of these animes I feel is like, it's like similar to Redo Healer, right? Wrong Healer, I mean, not Redo Healer. It's like, oh, there's some kind of weird, like, oh, I can only parry stuff. But it just gets kind of boring after like 1 2 episodes. Yeah, not that interesting. He's way too kind of stupid, but not as charismatic. Just didn't really work. But it's all animes you can see it without being like, it's not utter trash, but it's kind of like, you know what I mean? You kind of can watch it without like killing yourself. What more do we have? We have more in like mid category. This cheerleading anime was kind of mid. It actually was really mid when it comes to fan service too. Yeah, this anime was like surprisingly bad as it comes to fan service. Like the opening and ending and so on. But and honestly, obviously that's not everything. You don't watch anime only for fan service. Like, don't get me wrong. That's not wrong, right? But seriously, I've seen like, I don't know, let's say 1,000 animes, probably more than that, right? I've seen a lot of animes in my life. And I think I got every single anime which was a weird, like, sensible fan service as this shitty anime. Yeah, it was very, very weird. I mean, honestly, like, it was strange. And like about the terms, it felt woke. Like, this is the most woke anime I've seen in my life. Like, seriously. It was very, very off-putting because they're basically these attractive cheerleaders, right? You know what I mean? So obviously you expect it to be fan service and whatever, right? And it is some, pants or whatever when they're doing this, like, when they're, training and so on, right? And then half the season they go into like an onsen to go to like some kind of training camp up in the mountains, right? So you expect it to be like, oh, I guess there's gonna be a bunch of naked ladies now because it's like a cheerleader at the onsen, So it's a bunch of tits probably, right? But no, instead they have this like really weird, like full suit outfits on them in the bath and so on. So everyone goes to the bath in like I don't know, clothes with them. Yeah, not bikinis, like weird clothes. Like seriously, the anime content is super, super woke. Like really woke. Really it feels weird. And I'm not saying that, I have to watch an anime, it has to be all the tits and ass or whatever. But I'm just saying that if they did the typical thing, right, where the girls go to the onsen and they have towels over them or something, and that would be fine, of course, right? And that would be like a normal. But now it looks really weird. Like a bunch of girls goes to the onsen and they put on more clothes, right? Because they are doing shielding stuff, right? And the clothes they are wearing in the onsen are more, clothes than they have normally as cheerleaders. So it seems just really weird. It seems very, very like unrealistic, right? Like, why would these bunch of cheerleaders put on more clothing to take a bath? Like, it doesn't make any sense. That to me just made the anime feel almost trash level. But I kinda like the story of this anime, but that to me just made it feel like I'm very questioning what's happening here, right? And it feels very, very, it doesn't feel authentic, right? It does not feel realistic whatsoever. It feels like someone was like, I have to insert values, you know what I mean? The typical Vogue feeling where like, okay, someone probably had, like some director was like, insert this thing here. It just feels very, very strange. It doesn't come off as a natural thing that would happen in real life, right? And that's the issue, right? This isn't that there's some tits or whatever. It's more like this doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? Like why even have an Onsen episode if the characters are gonna be dressing up more than normally? It's really weird. And it made me really questioning the anime. You know, it made me think like, what am I watching? Right? I think the big issue, typical Vogue issue, is that it takes you out of the anime. Right? It takes you out of the immersion. Suddenly it's like, what am I watching? This is completely unrealistic. Yeah, like what was happening? You know, completely like blindsided you with that. It was very, very strange. What more do I want to talk about? Some trash stuff. Well, we're getting some trash stuff now. Then can you just start with Uzumaki then. After trash anime, I mean, what can I say? Do I have to move over here and scream at it, punch it, shoot Uzumaki? You know, Uzumaki right there. It's just the worst anime ever. Uzumaki is probably the worst trash anime last year. It is an utter failure in anything that is an anime, right? That being said, though, and I want to say it very, very clearly, and I said it in my Uzumaki reaction too, right? That Uzumaki is a manga shit too, okay? Ito Juni, obviously, you know, crazy horror author, right? He writes some really good horror. Uzumaki is not one of them. Uzumaki, to me, has always been a pretty bad manga as well. But it starts out pretty good, right? The first episode is decent. Same thing with the anime, of course. It kind of works in the beginning, just like the manga. But as soon as, like, the kid becomes like a snail, and no one seems to care about it, and all this weird stuff, right? It just breaks your disbelief, right? And Itayuni is a good author, but his strength is when he writes like one single story. I like the Tomo story. Those are 5. The Tomo stories are interesting because they kind of like different places, different, you know, Japan and so on, different years. But he's much better at writing like one chapter scary stories. When he writes Uzumaki and is trying to be this like longer storyline, it doesn't make any sense. Same thing with Goi Fish, right? Also much weaker the further it goes, right? His best work at the whole thing, you know. Where it goes into the mountain and so on. Those stuff, or like the bully, with the mom bullying her son or whatever, yeah. Those are his best work. Right? His weakest work is the longer work. So the more chapter he has, the worse he writes it. And Uzumaki is seriously terrible, I think. Also terrible. And then the anime, of course, adds on the terrible stuff by obviously like just removing some of the scenes, right? So basically even dumber. So again, I think the manga is terrible. I think the manga is shit before I even watch the anime, right? And the anime removes like half the scenes, which obviously makes it even more confusing or weird because you're skipping over some of the continuation scenes, like the boyfriend, like the guy that wants her, and so on. And then the anime also has like the worst animation ever, right? And it's funny, it got delayed, stuff like that. It got delayed. It got like, you know, are we doing it next year and so on? And as a side note, I remember seeing people saying that, oh, it's getting delayed. That means it's gonna be great when it comes back. You know what I mean? Or when it arrives then. And I was like, that's not how it works. Almost every anime that gets delayed gets worse, right? Because getting delayed means you have production issues, yeah. So I can't see how people are defending it or coping, saying, oh, it's gonna be great now. They're delaying it for 1 year. It's like, it's gonna be terrible when it finally arrives. You know, what are you talking about? But anyway, easily probably the worst anime this year, because I think it's bad even in the manga, right? It's a terrible anime all over. What more is trash, like actual trash animes. I don't think the year has like that many like really truly trash animes, but still fun to make fun of them. This Dating the Robo Girl, that also was trash. Very, very, very uncanny. So basically, guy finds Robo made something, right? And he wants to smash his maid as a robot. Something like that. I don't know. But it's like, I have seen or read rather stuff like Showbiz, right? Where guy fights an alien girl, right? No, I open my head now, Showbiz. Yeah, and it's like a classic love story, right? Fights a random robo girl and falls in love with her. So it's not like a unique storyline whatsoever, you know what I mean? We've seen it in Metas before, right? Where you pick up some random chick to be your maid. We also have, animes where you have like some kind of animal monster girl, right? That is your maid waifu. Like for example, the helpful fox or whatever. So nothing strange with that. Like very, very classic genre, honestly, by now, right? But this is just really boring. She has no personality. She's like genre or something a little bit. He's completely generic trash character, and she has this uncanny feel to it all the time. And she's like no emotion. It's really weird, and she's like just 100 times more boring than how this usually starts when you have your spirit waifu or whatever. And yet he's like, oh, I'm gonna smash it, and it just feels so unrealistic, the whole thing. And she looks completely So it's kind of yonder, unrealistic, uncanny valley robot all the time, and it's appalling. And you're like, oh my god, who would fall in love with the robot? Yeah, and she has this like weird thing that she is clearly yandere or something, but she's like locked away her emotions because of her bad coding or something, and she's, oh my god, it's so bad. It is the worst. I mean, I've seen like 20 animes with basically the same premise. This is probably the worst of them, right? Of that premise, yeah. You're like, oh my god. I didn't finish it though. I did not finish it. Obviously, I quit after like 2 episodes. I was disgusted by it. I quit, guys. Maybe it gets better, but I very much doubt it. I very much doubt it. But yeah, what an utter trash anime. So boring. So uncanny. Jesus Christ. What more do we have that's like really bad? In that level of disgusting robot girlfriend. I see a terrible anime. No, I'm like, Okay, Metallic Rogue, my god, what a disappointment. Not really as bad, so yet another original anime that I had hopes for, right? Because original animes tend to be better because they have better pacing and so on, right? But this anime is just really bad too. It has some really weird fights, and I remember watching episode 3, I believe it's episode 3, maybe episode 2, but I think it's episode 3, and they have this like car chase scene in a forest, and then one of the characters teleports or something. It makes no sense. Like she's behind the car, chasing her friends right in another car, shooting at them, or she's running after her like a mecha suit, and then the next scene, she's suddenly ahead of the car or something. I mean, that kind of stuff to me is just like, no, this is just bad. You know what I mean? When you have two characters running like this, and suddenly it's one cut, suddenly this character is in front of it and pushes the car or something. You're like, but she was running behind the car in the last frame. We never saw her jump or anything. She just magically is in front of the car. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, or like a spider car or something. But whatever, you have a point. Like that to me, it takes me out of it completely. Okay, when the character has magical, it's like there's like no actual logic to how they solve the issues or whatever. Their fights and so on. Yeah, it's just like magically jumps to where they want to be and so on. A lot of that stuff. So it was just terribly directed. But just direction is just so bad, right? And honestly, this is an anime that probably would be mid with an actual better director. Because, like I said, every episode had those kind of things where the character would just be like, but weren't you in that thing? Yeah, like weren't you in the car over there suddenly? Or some other character would be like, driving the car, and the next scene she's like sniping from like a ceiling over there somewhere from some rooftop. You're like, but she was in the car in the last frame. And then some other guys out in the car suddenly. Like there's no like there's no logic to it. Yeah, it's just like what just happens. Stuff just happens because they just wanted to happen. Yeah, it is really really strange. Really strange. But anyway, what more do we have that I can say immediately? Like this is trash. Do not watch it whatsoever. That I found like really trash. There's so many animes here. I might come up with someone later that is really trash. But actually I found Fable also to be really trash. That also was terrible, I think. So there's like a Yakuza, assassin kind of thing. But the main character basically has no emotions. He's just really boring. And you might say that, that's like by design. He's supposed to be an apathic, like no personality assassin Yakuza guy. So I buy it to some extent. But it's just really boring. And again, there's also one I like. Yankee stuff. I like Yakuza animes. I'm a big fan of other, Yakuza focused stuff, right? If you look at my best game of the year that I did like last week, talking about the gaming stuff, I really, really love Yakuza 8, right? Ichiban. I'm gonna buy, of course, the pirate game coming with like a pirate Yakuza. I love the Yakuza games, so I'm very into like, kind of the criminal Yakuza animes, gaming, and so on. And this anime is really, it was boring. It was boring. The main character, again, has no emotions. That's boring. I don't watch that. It's boring, right, And it might be interesting if you could write the story around that. Like it mattered. But instead it's just him, like, going through the motions, And there's no emotion to it. And it's really boring. And all characters are really boring, and dislikable characters. I couldn't get through it. I watched, like, the first 5 episodes, and I was like, I'm really bored. These incredible, dislikable characters. I just gave up. But like I said, most of the trash animes, I actually quit kind of midway through, Yeah, so I was just saying that maybe this anime gets better, maybe it gets better. It's manga I've seen, of course, it's 4 episodes. But the really true trash animes, this like 20. Yeah, I dropped it like 20 episodes after because it's so bad. I can't do this. And I mean, there's a bunch of isekais that you could argue could be down in trash. But I probably put them all in mid kind of pair. It's like a bunch of isekais coming here, like, just mid isekais. But do we have another like really, really terrible anime? I might go up to some actual good animes now. Do, 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 do. The animes that I'm not gonna bring up are basically here, all of them. Yeah, they're basically mid, right? If I don't care to like put it up like this, then it means that it's here, you know. Like if I actually put it up here, then it's trash or better, right? Yeah, like if I care enough to like lift it up, so to speak. I'm just looking at some other. Okay, this is an anime. I hated Kaiju number 8. Okay, I think it was trash. You know, I really did Kaiju number 8. So I got a lot of heat for this thing, right? So let's talk about that a little bit. So I got a lot of heat for that, honestly. I feel in my experience, because I dropped the anime. Then I did actually watch it though afterwards. I read to it in the beginning, got really bored by it. You know what I mean? And then I dropped it. But I got back then and I binged it after it was finished. I've seen the whole anime. Okay, so I find Kazuma just really boring. Yeah, like it's like terrible shonen anime, right? And I'm a big shonen fan, you know. I've seen Black Clover, I've seen Bleach, etc. You know what I mean? I've seen all the shonen anime, basically, all the big ones. And Kaiju number 8 to me just feels like an incredible copy of all the shonen animes. You can say same with Black Clover, and obviously Kaiju feels like Black Clover because you have, you know, Noelle basically in the anime, Sundra, girlfriend, right? And that's a little bit Attack on Titan. He transforms into a monster and he's fighting big monsters and so on. But it just feels like it does everything way, way worse. I really hated it. I think Kaiju number 8 is utter trash anime. For me, it's like a 2 out of 10 anime because it has nothing at all that is new, right? Everything is stolen from other animes. Most of them, again, Black Clover and Attack on Titan, right? But it makes it worse, you know what I mean? Black Clover also is known for taking a lot of other stuff from mostly Bleach then, right? But Black Clover, the author, Tabata, is very good at making stuff more higher paced, especially the flashbacks, and other cool ideas. So he's kind of like good at taking stuff that he's seen before and making it better, or making it better paced, definitely. But Kaiju number 8 is just like worse. It takes stuff from other shonen animes, most of them. It's like 99% uncreative stuff, and everything is just worse. The worst character, the second main character, meh, best friend, boring enemies, right? It's just like, oh my god, like, I've seen everything before. It's absurdly predictable because everything is just, you know, rehashed old stuff, and everything is just worse, right? Just why would I watch that before? It's just so bad. Like, I think you can only enjoy Kaiju number 8 if you've never seen another short anime before in your life. You know, it's just so boring. It's like the narrative monster thing, and yeah, it just takes everything you've seen before and just makes it like, oh, I just made it worse. Great. What's the point, right? You know, absolute trash anime. Absolutely, 100% trash. What more do we have? Do we have something else that is on that level? But I really hate Kaiju number 8. That's absolute trash, guys. What more do I like despise? Was big in that level. Actually, pretty few ones. That I will put up in trash. That might be it for trash for now, at least. Before I come with that, the anime that I actually surprisingly liked a lot, Mayuka Punch. Okay, let's talk about good anime. Okay, get up to good anime. I actually really liked Mayuka Punch. I'm about trying to become a YouTuber, you know. Press the like button, guys. I get a YouTuber now, yeah. Maybe I'm biased then. Michael Punch. Maybe I'm biased, right? Because it's like, yeah, they're YouTubing. But seriously, I found the anime very fun. Good jokes, good pacing. Every episode was original anime, every episode was enjoyable. But especially, very likable characters. Main character is a horrible person, which I think is a really good part, right? Because they're YouTubers, right? So the main character beats up her friend, she's horrible, everyone hates her. And I'm just like, I like it. She's actually a disbodied, horrible person. She's like Logan Paul. He attacks her best friends and burns the house down. I don't know. She's like a crazy person, yeah. So, I mean, at that point, I liked it. They actually took the female main character and made her be like a despicable person. Yeah, I was like, oh, interesting. Yeah, they're going with that route that she's actually a terrible, terrible person. Okay, interesting. And there's one episode when they're in her hometown, their sister, right? The other girls are pretending to be like, I don't know, her sister or something. And she knows nothing about her birthday or anything. She forgets anything about her. And she's like, oh, God, it's so sad. And they'll make fun of her, how terrible she is. It's great, man. So basically, the other ones are vampires, right? And they're trying to get like 1 million subscribers in like half a year, whereas they will not be allowed to, like, I don't know, stay in that city or whatever, because they got exposed as vampires, right? and so on. But it's really the likable characters, great voice actors, actors, so on, yeah, and good jokes, and actually some sad scenes too. Especially the one with food, when she goes to she leaves Tokyo and goes to America to find her friend and so on. Yeah, it's like actually has some emotional bits as well there. So, but I think especially how they made the main character be one of the most despicable women ever, but it's still kind of very likable. That's the good part. Yeah, she's like a horrible person, yet somewhat likable. Like she's like an actual good YouTuber. Yeah, like I really hate this person, but I kind of still want her to win. You know, like she's like a very good YouTube character. Yeah, like this is exactly how a famous YouTuber should be. Like you really, really hate them, but you still kind of root for them. Yeah, that's the main character. So I actually really enjoyed my like a punch. I think it was one of the best ever this year. And they pulled no punches, so to speak. You know, really did not. And also some good parody, you know, on some real YouTubers. So absolutely. What more do we have that is controversial, perhaps? Okay, let's do it. Slime. Okay, now slime is very interesting, right? Because I could genuinely put slime in trash and be like, yeah, screw this anime. It's so terrible. Season 3 is like the worst I've seen in my life, right? You used to be kind of up here, and now you're sitting down here because you're like, oh my god. Season 3, man, the table meetings, the tables, every goddamn episode is an effing table, and it is like meeting, and everyone is making fun of it, like, oh my god, what's happening, look at this episode, it's a golden table, this episode is a wooden table, and it's so boring, like, it's genuinely just boring, expositional, the Dharma state is really, really boring, the part 1 is just terrible, it actually is genuinely trash, okay? It is trash, seriously. And then suddenly it's like the best anime when it comes to part 2. Where you're like, okay, now this is happening now, bro. Yeah, suddenly it's like the best anime. I have no idea where she puts the anime, genuinely. Like, I have no idea. Of course, not the best anime this year because half of it is terrible. And it's half is trash and half is great. So it's like here, I guess, in the middle. Slap in the middle. It's like 0 out of 10 and 10 out of 10. And combine that, you get 5 out of 10. I don't know. It is really, really weird. But I mean, genuinely, the episode with tables and meetings are so terrible, and some people of course defend it. Oh, you used like action. No, but it's not even well done. Okay, it's not even well done, right? It reminds me of like Promised Neverland 2, which is obviously one of the worst animes ever on time, right? Or never happened, when Rimaru or the other character, Shonen or whatever, right? When they are talking about something like, oh yeah, the lore of this thing, and they're like explaining, here's the elf village of Faerun or whatever, I don't know. They're explaining something, right, in the anime. They're just talking. There's no animation, there's nothing like this. He's just talking. Yeah, it is so lazy, the first part of season 3. So it's not that it's just boring because it's a lot of meetings. The actual meetings themselves are badly done. They really are. And then, funny enough, right, in part 2, when obviously Elf Milf arrives, best character, she makes it 20 out of 10, yeah. When she arrives, Elf Milf comes in, right? Suddenly, not only is Elf Milf 10 out of 10 character, but the actual meeting with her are actually better too. Because they're animating maps, and she's describing stuff, and you see map images of this thing flying around and so on. So suddenly it's like, it's so weird too, because again, part 1 is like really boring meetings with only dialogue, no animation, still frames, and so even the actual meetings in part 2 are like 10 times better. So if the meetings had the quality of part 2 that part 1, I mean the same quality of part 2 in part 1 would be much more watchable. So it's very, very weird, and it feels like genuinely like that they have like no budget for the first part and put all the money in part 2, right? So you got a tournament arc, you got the cool fight scenes, you got the Hinata, Rimaru, blah blah so on, but you also get like an actual. So yeah, the first like 5 episodes of part 1 of the 3 are utter trash, and they were made with like 1 yen budget. It's super strange. I mean, genuinely, like what happened, So you kind of get somewhere there, honestly. But if I only was reviewing part 2, I would have been like, it's a must-watch, top anime. But now I'm like, oh my god. But it's a really weird anime, because it easily also could be trash. In one way, it is really trash, because you have to kind of get through those 10 episodes of trash, right, to get the good part. Like, it really is trash to like the first 10 episodes. But anyway, what more do we have of? There's some other controversial picks, maybe. Well, I don't know if it's controversial, but people agree with me that it's just utter trash. But it's hard to decide where to put the anime. I mean, that's kind of weird. It's hard to It's hard to rank Rimaru. Yeah, I felt that I generally wrote it in my list, right? You can see in the description below. I generally wrote Rimaru. I generally wrote Slime as, I believe, in my own list here. And yeah, just like again, in the description you can see how I ranked them per season. I generally ranked the first season. It's a bit high up there actually, because there are a bunch of other animes coming in later from fall, but see, it goes in spring. Let's see here. Yeah, I mean, I kind of ranked it in like bottom 5 or something. Yeah, of the whole spring 2024. Looking at my own list here, I ranked. There's some other animes that I did rank higher, or I mean higher opposite. Sorry, like trasher. I mean, and those animes are like Windbreaker and Kaji number 8. Kaji number 8 in trash and so on. So there are some more animes that I ranked in like trash tier. And also that reminds me, Area Monster is on my list there. So you didn't see it. I can't want to see it. But the Area Monster is also absolute trash. There should also be absolute trash. This anime is also utter garbage, of course. Not in my own list, yeah. So Area Monster, absolute trash. It is appallingly bad, right? In so many ways. And not only in the weird, like, Stockholm Syndrome sex slave way, because it's really like, I mean, you have the harem animes, right? Where the main character, picks up the chicks or whatever, right? But in this anime, the main character is arse them. The main character is arse a bunch of chicks, and every time you arse them, they fall in love with him. So he gets like more and more children and more waifus by just arring them, and this is like really, really, really weird. Yeah, it's really weird. But it's just a weird anime too, in so many ways, because the anime's writing and some of the death scenes are just incredibly, gruesome, right? Yet they're censoring all the sex scenes, which to me is just terrible, because if you want to have this like utter, Goblin Slayer-ish trash anime, let me see those scenes, you know what I mean? Here I was like, that's a Berserk, right? Everyone read Berserk, I love Berserk, great manga, right? But Berserk would be strange if they censored all the, some of the scenes, yeah. No, they make it be this gore and blood. So Area Monster is a very weird anime in that sense, because they're censoring a lot of stuff for some reason, even though it's like 18 plus super weird anime, right? So you should let it rip, so to speak. That's one thing. That it has like straight up like no budget, like they ran out of money after like 3-4 episodes. So it is. I mean, I read the whole anime because it's so incredibly bad that okay. To be fair, Area Monster is so incredibly bad that it gets good. You know what I mean? It's comedically bad, right? To be fair, but yeah, they stopped animating stuff. Like seriously, there's no animation. So I made some videos about it last year, right? And literally episode 10, I think it is. It's like one animation, like literally 20 episodes, 20 minute episode, and it's like you still frames, okay? It is genuinely only still frames, and there's like one CGI of the cart moving, which is actual animation, and then he's fighting his like friend one episode, and they're not even animating that. It's basically like this, right? And the next frame is like a hand, and there's so many scenes, like it's like a parody woman. She's running at him, and the first time she's running, you see her legs moving, right? And the next frame, she's flying like this. She has like a spear or a lance in her hand. She's just flying like this for like 5 minutes. It's like appallingly bad. It's hard to explain how bad it is. Like honestly, it's so bad. Like it's genuinely like it's 10 out of 10 animation. Yeah, like, it's probably the worst looking anime this year. Area Monster, even worse. Yes, Uzumaki looks better than Area Monster. Like that's how bad. Uzumaki is obviously an utter joke too, right? So, I mean, the list here is in order now, but the most trash, of course, would be like Area Monster, Uzumaki, yeah, like something like that. But it's just like, yeah, it is incredibly bad. But to be fair, I have to say I actually kind of enjoy it though. I mean, yeah, because Uzumaki is also kind of funny, but it's so bad, right? So in that sense, Kaji number 8 to me, it's actually less enjoyable than Area Monster, because yeah, Kaji 8 is boring. Area Monster release is so bad that it gets good, right? You know what I mean? Like honestly, it's so incredibly bad. You kind of like, actually, I kind of like it now. Yeah, I'm laughing at how bad it is. At least, oh sorry, speed around. Chat again. At least it is. Yeah, it becomes like so bad that I'm like, you know what? It's actually kind of enjoyable now. So now fix chat. Okay, sorry. But yeah, story leveling, I mean, it's good. Right to yesterday. And we could come on story leveling later in the list, of course. But that would be more for the better animes, obviously. but I think that's kind of it though for the absolute trash. Yeah, when I remembered Eddie Monster, I was like, yeah, that's true. That is an utter trash anime. That truly is the trashiest. We have one anime people think is trash probably, which is My Wife is a Kid anime. I can't see it now, there's so goddamn many shows here, but it's somewhere here in the middle probably. That anime isn't actually trash. So, what is the anime? Where is the anime where his wife come back? That anime is such a hated anime on Twitter, and I've seen it, and actually it wasn't that bad. It's basically his wife gets, she dies and becomes reincarnated as some like kid next door, basically. Is it that one? That's the one, right? My wife is my wife is a kid. It's actually kind of like here, somewhere, seriously. Yeah. So My Wife's the Kid, or like My Wife Returned, that was alive, whatever it's in English. It's one of the most hated animes, right? Before it was even released. Because obviously it's a very weird title. It's like My Wife is a Kid or something. Yeah, it's a very, very sweet anime. But not that it was like the best anime of all time or something, but it really is more like a wholesome, weird anime where basically the husband, right, the main character, he's like kind of depressed. He kind of goes to his work and his whatever, right? He got like a daughter and he kind of like whatever life. And then his dead wife comes back. She's been reincarnated as like a 10-year-old, whatever, like lives the place they live in. So it's a weird premise, absolutely. But then she cooks food and so on, right? And then he gets happy again because he's like, oh yes, now I remember now how food was and so forth, right? So he kind of starts getting better at work and so on, like he does more stuff at work and he's more proactive and so on. And almost immediately too, in the anime, this is female coworker that kind of likes him, and his, wife, that the kid, right? I know it's weird. I know it's a weird anime, but yeah, his dead wife then is like, oh, you should definitely smash her. Yeah, like so it's nothing like there's no weird like stuff with him and his wife, his dead wife. No, not at all. She instead is like, oh, this coworker likes you. Yeah, do it. He's like, oh, but what does my dead wife think? She's like, I'm dead basically, so I don't really care. Yeah, she's like, you better do it. Yeah, like so basically that he has dated Anna once since she's died, right? And it's been like 10 years, so whatever, right? So yeah, his dead wife is like, do it, yeah, you better get some. Stuff like that. So I find it actually kind of wholesome and kind of adorable, right? How he's been all depressed and guilt feelings over his dead wife and that stuff, He doesn't want to date some new chick or whatever. But his dead wife is like, no, you should date it. Yeah, I'm dead, go and smash. Yeah, it's like, okay, I guess, And then suddenly his life gets better and so on because he's like, he's more, daring and gets like a girlfriend or whatever, yeah. So it's actually kind of a wholesome anime. And then actually kind of sad because dead wife then has a terrible life. Like her new mom beats her and so on. So it's kind of a dark anime to some extent too. But genuinely, actually kind of weirdly like good anime. But that's not amazing. But obviously it's a weird anime. But okay. Actually, it's way less weird than you think it's gonna be. Given the title, yeah. It's way less weird though than what it sounds like though. But actually kind of a wholesome anime, most of it. I honestly kind of wish that it didn't have a drama of the wife and her new mom. Her new mom is just terrible. Yeah, her mom is like a abuser and so on. Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have that. I wish it was more more wholesome. But I guess some drama. But what more anime do we have? So if we go to the better animes, I think I kind of covered most of the trash, kind of surprising animes now. So let's take one of the better animes that is must watch then. You can go with by late. We'll go reverse then, so it's easy for my brain. So let's talk about Dan Dan. I'm just gonna find it. Yeah, I'm just gonna find it. But where is Dan Dan? Tell me, chat. Do you see Dan Dan? I'm gonna go reverse now, right? So we go like Dan Dan was last season, and we move R0 and Mushenshi. It's not following leather order. God damn it, this list. Is that Dan Dan? No. That's a more thing. I saw it earlier, right? I think every anime is here. That matters. A Russian girl. You would imagine it should be on D, but no, this doesn't follow, because I couldn't see on K, right? It doesn't follow like. I feel like it's stupid now. Like, where the hell is Dan Dan? Way too many animes. Way too many animes. Oh, there it is. Oh, God. That is a weird image. Yeah. Let's throw it up here. That must watch. Okay, let's go to some good anime. Okay, so now we're gonna get into top 10 guys, basically, right? Time for the stream to get into the really top animes, right? Obviously, the other one was trash or mid or whatever. Now we're at Dan, guys, right? Dan might be the best anime, right? I'm not saying what anime I think is the best yet, but obviously Dan is a very weird anime. Controversial. People hated that scene when they were half naked in school or whatever, right? But and the banana scenes. But Dandan is like a cool shonen anime, right? And which is very, very strange. And I think that a good comparison then is of course Dandan and Card number 8, right? While a lot of stuff in Dandan isn't new. Well, obviously these two people are gonna fall in love. Some other girl enters, she also likes him, whatever. There's always some tropes there. Hot grandma is somewhat, I guess, a trope. But I meant more so that grandma is that classic, mentor teacher character, right? Immediately when I watched episode 3, when grandma enters Obasan, I was like, oh, she's the Kakashi, She's the older, more senior party member that explains to the youngsters how to fight or whatever, right? So it obviously has some tropes, so to speak, right? That we recognize from both anime and also video games, of course. But otherwise, Dandan is just crazy, right? Dandan is insane. It has so many weird stuff, sex jokes, and weird fights, and weird characters. It's like weird ghost powers up, and weird banana robots. It's very, very strange, right? The anime is very weird. It takes some kind of, yokais from Japanese mythology, and other myths like aliens. They kind of mix them together, and everything's just very, very strange. And it's a very, obviously, enjoyable anime. Yes, season 2 is coming soon, right? It's very enjoyable because it's unpredictable, unexpected. It's just crazy every episode, and you definitely get on a ride, Every episode's like a new ride. So it's really, really enjoyable. So Dan is an absolute must-watch. Absolutely one of the best anime last year. And like I said earlier, also I feel like a good comparison to Card number 8, where it has a lot of tropes too, right? Because it's hard today to write a new shonen anime, because it's obviously the most popular genre and so forth. But instead of where Kadju plays everything super safe, that's just boring every way, Dandan plays everything to the max extreme, right? Everything is crazier, everything is weirder, and it just makes it feel very fresh, right? Even though it is somewhat otherwise kind of like, oh, I've seen this before 20 times. But not in this version of it. Yeah, it feels fresh and new and so on. But also probably to me that doesn't mean it's the best anime, because I don't feel it's that amazing. But it's really good. It's good. That's top anime. Another top anime, like Konosuba, obviously a must-watch comedy. So how much I love, Aquan, Megumi, and even Darkness gets a lot of screen time. But yeah, Konosuba, of course, arguably best comedy this year, right? As always, incredibly funny. This is a focus a little more on the new character Iris, then, but also, of course, Darkness. And I mean, there's some great scenes, right? The whole season. Kazuma actually being competent. He's a bad guy. One of my favorite scenes is probably when they bring up the church, though. So they blew up a church trying to save Darkness. And then when the bomb is going down, Kazuma jumps behind Darkness so she can protect him. Just sticks around her ass. And it's like, what are you doing, Kazuma? It's like, shield me! Use your buttocks to shield me! That kind of stuff. And they're like, no, you're damn pathetic, Kazuma. It's like, well, she's a tank, It's always hilarious, man. The first episode with the weird dryad girl that lies to them, the Kazuma feels sorry about. No, it's a great man. Every episode, makes me cry of laughter. It is probably the funniest anime last year. But I am biased, though. I think Konosuba is the best comedy of all time. Before I saw SL3, so I'm a little biased in that sense. But yeah, easily, I could even put it up here. This kind of thing, though. If I didn't talk about just best anime here, talk about best genre instead, I would say easily Konosuba is the best comedy, like the funniest anime last year. So I think that's like a no-brainer for me. So it's a little bit different, always, right? We're talking about like genre and so on. But sure, let's do S03 then as well. So you talk about S0. Obviously, I'm very excited for that. I just got married to Emilia, right? Tried my Aqua out. Got that Emilia pillow from the company, Dakimari Rosso pillow, sent me a new review copy of that, which actually was better than the previous one. Genuinely was, I must say, because the pain you say that. No, I genuinely thought it was better because So I have 2 of those pillows, right, from the pillow company that makes wifey pillows, and the new one of Emilia then, it is better because she has the 2 legs separated, and it actually makes it much easier to sleep. Yeah, because if you wanna like sleep on your side, right? I showed in my video. If you wanna go on the side with the pillow, right, and you wanna do like a side or a stomach sleep or whatever, it's much easier with the 2 leg thing. So they actually is a better like pillow for you to sleep. I was easily compared to the classic giant hug pillow, which is harder to kind of sleep with, I feel, except on your back then, right? So kind of limited to your back sleeping slightly on the side. But whatever. But obviously, Emilia Tan. Actually, I'm thinking of buying a figure too of Emilia. I thought it's a really cool figure, like Emilia cheerleader. But it's only, I believe it's only as a crane game reward. I can only find it on eBay, whatever. It's not a story, but could be interesting, you know. I also want to buy some new figures for my collection, you know what I mean? So we got R0 then, which is arguably the best isekai of all time. Now I have Konosuba over it now, and then also we come into Potenshi. But yeah, I think easily, of course, that R0 is one, if not the best isekai of all time. And that says a lot, right? Because obviously we have like at least 5 isekai per season. Isekai is the most popular genre in anime, basically, right, for the last 10 years. That and of course shonen. So it's like, yes, isekais are so many of them. And R0 is at the best, right? You know, guy dies, comes back, you know, timeline. I assuming everyone kind of knows what it is because it's a famous anime. But the 3 down started last year, and it's a really good season, right? It has some really cool death scenes, some good mystery. Now, it did just end in the middle of it, and it is coming back this year, right? Not that long from now, like a month from now. So it does feel a little bit unfair saying that it's the best anime, honestly, this year, because I really don't. I have to be honest. I don't feel it was the best anime this year. It's only 8 episodes. Yeah, only 8 episodes, and it clearly just ended in the middle of a cliffhanger, right? We needed to have at least 3-4 episodes to kind of sort that out, right? Which of course are coming again this year. So it's a little bit weird because it started airing. It's kind of half the seasons, and we have like 8 episodes coming, you know, this year. So yeah, a little bit weird to say this is the best anime this year. So I'm gonna remain and say a series a must watch, absolute must watch, and then we see what happens in the coming episodes. But to me, if it's like it's obviously gonna be the best anime probably this year, right? Yeah, probably easily. I think a series 3 probably be the best anime this year, and then so to speak also arguably last year. Then. But it's kind of thing too, right? It does feel like, to no surprise, the episodes coming this year are gonna be better probably because it's more in the climax, right? The first episodes last year, so to speak, were more like the build up, right? Sure, some died or whatever, but there were more build up. And then it started to be more actions packed and more reveals and mysteries and deaths and so forth, right? So the episodes coming this year are gonna be more like, okay, now we're at, you know, this thing that. So yeah, I expect next season to be part 2 to be even better, right? So it's probably the best anime this year, but I would say I must watch last year, and I don't really feel it's fair to say that it's. Dandan is probably better than Sakamoto Days. I probably agree with that. Yeah, because Sakamoto Days is. I think Sakamoto Days is a good anime. I like it a lot. Besides here, I've only seen, of course, episode 1 to 3, of course, but Sakamoto Days is like a funny anime, right? About hitman, Kenyu Reeves, basically, John Wicks having a family and daughter and so on. And it's a good, fun anime, right? I enjoy it. But Dandan is probably definitely more interesting with crazy characters and more fresh, right? Yeah, Dandan I would say is definitely better than some other days. Yeah, it feels a lot more unique and a lot more interesting. But they're both good animes, though, right? They're both good animes, and yeah, they're. But yeah, I think that the other one feels a little more assassins seen them before, but it is enjoyable though. What more do we have as a top anime now that we're doing the top list? Top 10 anime. Not anime I can bring up, of course. I'll do it now then. Building up the season. I have my Ruby here. Obviously I got the Ruby in the thumbnail, you know. Ruby, everyone's beloved sister, you know. Yeah, she got it here. Obviously the Ruby-chan. Ocean and Coil. Actually I bought all 3 of them, so I have them all over there in the other room. So I have Ruby, and Kanna, and of course Mem Show about all three of the big commercial girls idol show. But yeah, I really like Oshinokoi. I think one of the best animes that ever been made, right? I think it's one of the best animes. It's the one. Two, I think is great as well. Some really good characterization. Some more backstories on Kanna and Akane and so on, right? Obviously, Mem was best girl though, but it even made me slightly become a Ruby fan. I mean, it's like, I understand these manga people shipping Ruby with Aqua. I'm like, weirdos. Then I watched the two, I'm like, wait, am I a Ruby fan too now? Did I buy this thing because I like Ruby? No, I'm a Ruby fan. You know, no, I also ship Ruby now. But actually, it's kind of interesting because I really did love that storyline. And Ruby basically is openly like, I'm in love with Sensei, right? You know, in the episode 2, she's like, I'm in love with her teacher, Sensei, which happens to be Aqua, her brother. I know, but for her, in her view, right, Aqua is Sensei, not Aqua, so to speak. Right? Thinking more about him as his previous life, right? And that was really good, honestly, when Ruby had her backstory extended on her previous life, right? And how she fell in love with Sensei in that life, which made complete sense. So I'm actually I do kind of ship Ruby and Aqua now, goddammit, you know. I had to buy this figure then, but I also bought other figures too, of course, but yeah. But I was like, I gotta buy my Ruby figure now, goddammit. I'm a Ruby shipper now, goddammit. But that's why I like it. It is probably one of my all-time best anime last year, easily. Yeah, it might even be up here then as the best anime. Maybe like that, yeah. We're coming to later conclusion, but it is definitely up there. It is very good, and I think it's better than the zero then because you can just get started with with the characters and so on in the zero. But anyway, so yeah, Ushinokoi, definitely top anime, definitely top 10 anime last year. Love it. What more do we have? Okay, Demon Slayer also good. Oh, sorry, that was a wrong random isekai trash. Yeah, Demon Slayer. Where do you put Demon Slayer? Somewhere here maybe? Demon Slayer, of course. Season 4, right? So you don't know? Because this is the Hashira training arc, right? Season 3 is the village, yeah. So, Demon Slayer arc, I think it's great. You know, I find me defending Demon Slayer a lot for some reason, but I find a lot of people hate Demon Slayer. Oh, it's so popular that it's bad, whatever. But I always liked Demon Slayer. I never found it to be the best anime usually, but more one of the best animes, right? I find it kind of in plural. And I never understand the hate, or rather, I feel the hate is mostly built on it being very popular. They get people angry at it, right? But it's just strange to me. But yeah, I think the Hashira training arc is a weird arc in itself because it's kind of short, right? And I did like it, but I felt it was a bit uneven, to be honest, because some of the episode was like, oh, he's training with this guy, not as interesting. I love to see him Tanu's a stalker. That was episode so funny. So it's a little bit on and off, kind of who is training with in this episode. So it is probably the weakest Demon Slayer season. The Swordsmith Village, I think, is much better, honestly, right? Yeah, and the fight is really good too. So yeah, I would say it's the weakest season of Demon Slayer. I really love the end though. I mean, Jesus Christ, that's the thing, right? The last 2 episodes, or the double episode, whatever you call it, is 11 out of 10, right? When Musan comes there, and they're fighting him, and it's coming in with a giant morning star, Musan! All those scenes, right, with the mine exploding, and yeah, that is so good. I probably rewatched the episode 3-4 times the same week, you know, just immediately afterwards. Yeah, the same. I mean, I remember I watched the episode, I had to go back, reacting to it again in the same live stream. I was like, Musan! Because running there, yeah. So the last episode was incredible. Yeah, the last episode was godlike, right? So, but I think it's fair to say that it was slightly uneven then, where some of the training episodes felt a lot better than some other. It's like, oh, here's the training. Here you go to the Love Hashira. Oh, Love Hashira. Yeah, I get trained with the best wife. You know, oh yeah, let's go. And then only 5 minutes. Let's go to the other Hashira instead. Yeah. It felt very uneven. Some Hashiras are clearly more interesting characters and have more interesting methods, right? So, but yeah, putting the Rock is so it was a good season overall. I think. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't think it was terrible or good. I think it was overall good, but some episodes were really, really good. So a little bit like that, right? So somewhere here probably in a must watch, but not the best. Somewhere there. But yeah, sure. Okay, let's do Macadamia then. So Macadamia, it's interesting. You know, I'm a big Macadamia fan, of course. Okay. Yeah, now it gets harder. Is Macadamia the best anime last year? Almost kind of yes. I honestly feel Macadamia had an incredible good season. Season 7 is really, really good. The worst season is season 5, I would say. And then it gets better. 6 is better, definitely 5. And 7 is much better. 7 has some of the, I think, the greatest anime seasons of all time. Especially with, of course, Endower, his son, right? You know, spoilers, but yeah. The Endower scenes are just fantastic. And he's crying, and he's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's alright. Those are amazing. I cry every time I watch it. It's so good. The Toga last scene is great, it's alright, etc. And even, to some extent, uber evil, annoying bad guy getting power up is so interesting. The Bakugo scene, etc. So it really has like most of the greatest part of Macadamia. It is probably like the best season since season 1 or something. Even better than 1, yeah, but to some extent, right. There's a lot of the climax is happening, a lot of characters are dying, or they get, you know, out of hearing forever and so on. And yeah, only one more season left, right? So season 7 is a really, really good season. And again, probably the best Macadamia season of all time. Most emotions, so forth, like, so many good scenes, right? However, I will still say that the first half is slightly weaker, right? It really is the second half. When we get into more the ending of like Dabi and Endower and so on, that's where it really, really shines, you know what I mean? Like the last 10 or so episodes. So it's a little weaker in the beginning, which, you know, it had to build up, they have to do different scenes. But there are some really good moments, though, like Navy Laser betrayal scene, his cry, he's like, oh, I got you, uncle, and it teleporting in everyone. I mean, there's so many good scenes, man, in season 7. So, yeah, season 7 is probably the best Macadamia season of all time. And it's soon going to be over, right? And I hope they could marry Yosei Ippa. Yeah, Ippa Yosei. Ordinary woman, definitely, in my opinion. Best waifu. But I will say it's a good anime, but it's not maybe the best because a little bit, again, like, the first 10 episodes was like, had 1 or 2 same quality scenes. So probably somewhere around here. But I wouldn't put it like, yeah, I think it's definitely better than Danda, though. Absolutely, better Demon Slayer. I don't think, maybe I put it higher than like, but I think it's really high. I think it is, like I said, I really do think it is the best season the Macadamia ever had, arguably except first and then. Because it's a one you kind of start with, you know, the premise and the characters, and that is still a big part of it, you know, making them likable characters and so forth. But yeah, it's so much better than like 4 and 5 or so on. 4 and 5 are the weakest seasons. But where were we? All the top animes that we haven't thought about yet. Nothing in the bottom. I think I like this game though. Sakuna here. Yeah, underneath me here. We have Sakuna of Rise and Ruin. This is actually, the anime is kind of here. Right? The anime I don't think is very interesting. But I think it's a pretty good game. As I put it out there. Kind of interesting video game. I bought the Switch 2 years ago. And you basically, half the game is like a platform game, like a 2D platformer. Think about old school Nintendo games, right? And the other half is like you have a rice field to take care of, and the better your rice goes, the better stats you get. But actually, quite an enjoyable game, yeah. So you have this like a Stardew Valley farming game, and the other half is like actually a pretty good like 2D platform action game. But the anime is kind of like, yeah, it's okay. But actually, a pretty good video game, I would say. Now, where were we? We want to talk about top 10 games today. Oh, Dalmashai. I think it's a great season. Yeah, Dalmashai, also a really good season. I probably put it over here, maybe. So Dalmashai, season 5, of course. So we're getting the last season here. Yeah, you have to kind of be, you know. Unfortunately, the last episodes didn't have time to air. They're coming this year. But yeah, I think Dalmashai is really good. Right, I always liked Dalmashai from the beginning. Season 1 is really great, but season 3. I will say it's the only like weak part of it, the whole labyrinth thing, that wasn't that interesting. But I think season 4, right, with the whole Ryo, the whole her and Belle down in this bad, you know, dreadnought thing, that is by far, I think, the best season. Where, yeah, it's a really, really good season. Season 4 is just 10 out of 10. That season was fantastic. But Season 5 is also really great. 9 out of 10, maybe a little worse. Where Freya, of course, is finally, okay, I'm going to confront Belle. I'm going to smash my Belle coon, right? And she like rewrites people's memories. Then there's a giant war now against her. And this is a really, really good season as well. Yeah, it's a fantastic season. Probably the second best is Season 4. But Season 4 was the better. But I haven't had the last fight story coming again this year. But still, Season 4 I think was just really good. When him and Ryu down in the hard basement, and so forth. It has some amazing moments, really. And it was really tense and so on for like 10 episodes. And also I like the backstory with her family. Her sister dying and so on. Yeah, that was a good backstory for Ryu-san. But Season 5 has been also fantastic. I feel it, like I said, right, that Marsha probably lost a lot of people in Season 3. Because that's the only season I would say that isn't as good, right? That I feel that it's noticeably not as good as 1 and 2. And then again, 4 is like much better. So, if you haven't got to 5 yet, I feel more people probably quit during 3, right? You gotta get the 4, but 4 is like 10 out of 10 all the time. 4 is like a masterpiece. So, I think one of the better animes, absolutely. Also got Aisha in it. Yes! And you got Aisha in it. He got my girl Aisha. What more do we have of really top tier anime? Yeah, we got Solo Leveling, coming to that soon. I'm kinda working myself backwards, I mostly said earlier. And Dalmasha aired last season, so what more do we have of these like top animes? See, I'm never really into this blue box anime. I would say this is good, yeah, like sport romance anime. But I never felt it was like amazing. I was like, it's okay. I've been watching it on the sideline. I think it's just decent. But some people really like it though. But it's not like I hate it. I think it's kind of mediocre. What more do we have that is like really top tier? This anime here was pretty boring, honestly, for being like a cross-dressing anime. I probably put it in mid, somewhere here probably. For being a cross-dressing anime, it was just kind of tame. Yeah, it was just so tame. My senpai is a cross-dresser, right? Yeah, it was just kind of meh, right? Said it anime here, a harem anime, when she's all the harem characters, yeah, she does this personalities. I also find it's funny, but it's not really funny. I find it like, yeah, okay. It's not the one that's like, kind of mid animes, but other people like it though, yeah, Gideon no Harem, whatever it's called. But, this was top anime. Oh, Isekai Squad, okay, this is good. I actually really like Isekai Squad, okay? I wouldn't put it like here, but I put it around there. That's perfect place for it, okay? Isekai Squad is an anime I find people be really hard on, honestly. I find it really entertaining, Isekai Squad is like, the Isekai, Suicide Squad, because Isekai, written by S. Heroes Author, and it's basically Harley Quinn and so forth, right? Clayface and so on, and it's a more modern Clayface. But he wants to be an actor, which is a really funny character, voiced by, of course, Kazuma, Kazuma's voice actor, and so on. I find every episode really entertaining, yeah. But I think when people complain about it, people are like, oh, the storyline is bad, they're just fighting, and it is weird comedy jokes. I'm like, have you ever seen Suicide Squad? I mean, I watched it in a lot of the ways that I watched, for example, Peacemaker, which I love. Okay, Peacemaker is a great show, though, with John Cena. Peacemaker is a fantastic show, and it's definitely better than the anime, don't get me wrong. But that show is also very much like, how would I say it, right? Also kind of like, brain dead, it's comedy, right? A lot of fun jokes, cool action scenes. And I think that when you watch Isekai Squad, I immediately imagining it being just like typical Suicide Squad, action at the movie side with Suicide Squad, where it's Harley Quinn and her gang and it's going crazy against orcs or whatever. And that's kind of what you get. And I don't know why people hate it, because I felt it actually kind of had a really nice feeling to the characters. They are kind of like they usually are in their own shows. And I guess it didn't really present the character that well. But that's what I mean. It didn't really spend much time on like making you like Harley Quinn, for example, or giving her like a backstory or whatever. It basically was just like, this is Suicide Squad. You know who they are. It's Harley Quinn, it's Peacemaker, it's Clayface, and let's go. There was like no real backstory, a little bit with Joker, but yeah, they kind of like screw it, just go in and kill everyone. Yeah, it was like, I don't know. I really like it, but I keep saying it. You have to kind of have that mindset of, this is not an origin story, This is not an anime that makes you like the characters, right? This is a show where if you already like the characters, given other stuff, like for example, the Kelikuku show with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy and so on. Like if you like that show, it's the same character here. So yeah, then you probably will like this show, like the kind of comedy and the jokes and so on. Yeah, so it's like an anime version of that. So I think it was really good actually. Going from that DC comic my stuff. What am I watching? Right, I am watching basically Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy's lesbian TV anime, basically. Right, we started last week, season 5. Yeah, basically. So I think it was really good. But you have to kind of have that taste. But I guess it's kind of like Healer in that sense. Where it's like, you have to have kind of like the... If you really are into if you know all the characters and you understand it, then it really works for you. Kind of like if you like muscle mamas, then it's really good for you. But I guess that's fair though, yeah. You have to kind of... That is an issue of it. You have to kind of have that... the knowledge before, I suppose. Or you have to have the taste for... muscle mummies, yeah. That is fair. That is fair. In that sense, it should be somewhere down there, rather, because yeah, I think it's a better anime, but you need to have a lot of like pre-knowledge, or at least have the mindset to say I don't care about the storyline. Yeah, it's just I'm just here for the action and weird jokes all the time. Anyway, what more do we have in the list? Oh yeah, Russian girl. I probably put it somewhere here. No, I wouldn't put it in like mid, but I probably put it somewhere here. So, Russian girl, I actually find it's quite overrated. So, let's call it like Alia only speaks Russian or something. Should be Ukrainian. No, but the funniest thing I read about this anime is that someone apparently claimed that it was getting cancelled and it's supposed to be just speak Ukrainian instead because of the war. That's the funniest thing I read about this anime, that it's going to be cancelled because you can't have an anime with the Russian girls, I don't know. I didn't find it that super funny, like people are arguing for. I found it funny. I watched the whole anime. I was like, yeah, it's pretty funny. She's pretty cute. And there's some cute scenes. Her sister, or his sister, is a weird perv. Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Let's be honest here. The only reason I feel the anime got kind of popularity or talked about is the sister. His really weird hentai sister that is like sitting in his bedroom like, I got you now, Nisha! Yeah, like his sister goes to a hospital. His sister should be jailed, His sister is a weird pervert. Yeah, she's like really, really awkward. And he's obsessed with her brother's junk or something, and it is really weird. And honestly, I didn't find it funny, I didn't find it funny. When I'm watching him, the sibling, the incest scenes, in this anime, I'm just like, is it supposed to be funny? And I really mean that. I don't want to be like a prude. You can't do sex jokes. I don't want to be that guy. I'm gonna be woke, to guys know. So it's not about that. But I didn't find it funny because she was just cringe to me. Yeah, it's just too much, Like, I mean, I've seen so many animes, right? We obviously have some hot sister with big tits or whatever, and you know what I mean. That could kind of work or whatever, right? But this anime is just so over the top because sister like lies under his bed or something in one episode. And he goes into his bed or something, and she like pulls his pants down or something, his legs from under the bed, and it's like, what? Or some other episode you probably seen, right, where she kind of mounts him, and she like jumps up top of him, and he wakes up. She kind of does this really weird scene. You're like, what? Yeah, I guess it's too much, right? It's too much. So I think it was actually really badly written because there's a lot of animes, right, where you have that hot sister or whatever, right, and she's playing off as a tease, right, or maybe she wants to do it or whatever. But you can't just be like her, like, it's called, in Swedish it's called het på gröten, right, in Swedish, which is like you're too thirsty, yeah. Like, she's basically just too extremely thirsty, and that to me is that it becomes like, it's like the main character acts though, you become less attractive because you're too thirsty, right? You're too het på gröten, you're too much in my face with your thirst, so you kind of get like, get away from me, you weirdo, yeah, like, it's like, oh, you're kind of strange, what is your alternative motives here, yeah, you get kind of like, get away from me, you're weird, right, yeah. So she's so incredibly overplayed. So maybe I don't love it because of their weird sister, but I felt more like, nah, she's just too much. And I think it's bad writing. I think it's straight up bad writing. It's just too unrealistic. And the thing is that I think it's bad writing too because, in the sense that some of her jokes of being in love with her brother makes sense, or like the jokes make sense, or the joke lands good, so to speak. Like the joke, that kind of make me laugh, Sometimes the jokes land, and some other times where the author wants it to land, right? He wants this brother con joke to land, it's just flat, right? So again, that's bad to me, right? Because he clearly wants it to work. I mean, sometimes you can write this weird, sibling character, right? And just make them dislikable or whatever. That's one thing, right? But he clearly is trying to make her likable, and also be weird. And sometimes he just doesn't make it work at all. So I think that's the issue too, that the author couldn't deliver on making every scene kind of play out actually funny. She's made it mostly cringe, half the scenes. And sometimes I laugh, sometimes like, oh yeah. So it's a really weird feel to it, right? And one thing to put out here, if I every time was like, if I both cringed and laughed, because sometimes like, you have something like Borat, If I was Borat, then I usually have, this is cringe, but I kind of laugh anyway. This is so cringe, but it's kind of funny, what I mean? Like, that would be fine, right? If you cringe at her every scene, and you also laugh at her, but I feel like it's more like half the scenes with her are like etchy and funny, and the other half are cringe and just disgusting. So you kind of like, I don't think that the author, I feel, is going for them to both be funny and cringe every time, but he fails. I think it's fun. I think he fails. But anyway, so yeah, not a big fan. I guess you can say that. Not a big fan. No, but I wasn't impressed at all. But I understand people are, reacting to her and memeing her and so on, because it's basically hentai. But what more do we have left? Oh my god, Dear Girl! Oh my god, best of the, obviously. I love it, Nukutan! Kushitan was the best girl, but obviously best anime this year is of course Kushitan. No, but this anime is fantastic, right? You have the weird Dear Girl, not even my dear friend, just the name alone, you're like, see what they did. Every episode is hilarious, it's crazy. The last episode, which was a Bruce Lee with her antlers, and it's like, no, the best, I love anime. I laugh so much every episode, and the best scene though, I think of all the whole season, is that in episode 11, she's gone, right, and no one remembers her. So Kushitan, the main character, the Yankee chick, right? She's like, where's my Nukutan? And no one remembers her. She's like, what is this? Like some kind of memory thing or some kind of time lead, some kind of, whatever was happening, right? So 11, so 12, final episode. Kushitan comes to her, Nokutan. It's like, there you go, Nokutan, what happened? No one remembered you last episode. She's like, we don't have time for that. What do you mean? I am hunted by the mascot army. She's like, okay, but no one remembers you. Listen to me, that storyline is gone. Like, no, we're not doing that storyline, okay? We rewrote the final episode. Forgetting about me. No one ever remembers me again. Yeah, let's go. It's completely forward. That cliffhanger was a joke, okay? This is a better storyline. So it's a really weird anime. You have to like for the all jokes. You have to enjoy these like weird cliffhanger jokes they make, right? It's a very special anime. So I find it super funny. It is definitely the anime that I laughed to the most this year. It's incredibly funny. It really is, of course, my kind of comedy spot, because I like fourth wall comedy. They have that Deadpool feel to it. The big issue, though, honestly, that's the anime, is the other cast, right? So Koshitan, the main Yankee lady, she's hilarious. She's the, the normal person. She really works. She's an important part of being, of course, the foil of Nokutan, the crazy dear girl, right? Those two together, laughing at thinking about it now, when Nokutan is beaten. No, he's like a hilarious anime. I love it. The anime is so stupid. I love this anime. Episode 5, where Koshitan goes to the zoo, right? And Nokutan leaves at the zoo, and then some other lady's gonna feed the deers to this cage, right? And then Nokutan goes jumping and bites her hand off, and it's like, oh, get off me! Like that kind of insanity. This anime is hilarious. It's so weird. It's so goddamn weird. But what I think is a big issue of Nokutan is that the other girls are not that funny, right? Bashame is effing boring, okay? Some people like Bashame, but she's not that funny. Bashame is like, Raisu. I think it worked in some episodes. There's one episode where she makes a lot of rice fields in the background, and then when she's making the finish, right, the episode's over, she's like, so I have to make me build rice now. I was like, what? I spent all the background since building rice fields. Yeah, like she's like forward-walling it, like, I've been doing rice for like 3 episodes now. You're gonna help me with the rice field, So Bashame is funny sometimes, but mostly I think she was really boring, honestly. And then, Anko, the classic Yandere sister, Juve girl, not really funny. It was funny that her first scene was funny, because of course Nokutan falls all the traps. That was funny per se, but it's more Nokutan being funny, right? That Anko is just kind of there being not really funny. So I think that's the issue. I kind of like the other girls more, like, you know, girl that is like super, oh my god, everything's gonna die, you know, or like her fan girl or so on. Also kind of meh. Cat girl, Nekutan, she's pretty funny though. She's like, she gets the little ball guy and they're Tushy and they're friends together. It's pretty funny. But yeah, I find it kind of lacked in the other characters. Sensei also somewhat important character, I guess. So that's kind of where the anime falls, I would say, right? Like it starts out, yeah, like it has too weak main. Yeah, the podcast is too weak. I feel that's the only real issue with the anime, I would say. And kind of then makes it maybe, in my opinion, actually fall a little behind Konosuba. Thing is that while it's really, really, really funny, I think that it's more shock value. Konosuba is a better cast, and when you rewatch, I rewatch them both, of course. When you rewatch it, this anime gets, you know, much more lower laugh every time, right? Because it's more shock value, and again, the other characters are too weak to make stuff work. Where like Konosuba side characters are more funny and more well written, so you can enjoy the side stuff in the fillers, so to speak, more and so on, right? But anyway, but still, probably the anime I did laugh to the most, probably. Yeah, but it's very shock value anime though. But it is hilarious though. It's a really good anime. It is hilarious. Someone's calling me, so put on the phone there. Where are we? We only have a few, of course, anime left now, like solo leveling and so on, obviously. Oh yeah, another trash anime. I think about it earlier. Let's do it now then. It actually might be the anime I hate the most this year. My Sister is Boring and whatever. So I would say here, this is probably the most boring anime of all time this year. I mean, every Monster Uzumaki are at least like so bad that it gets good kind of trash. But this anime here is like, you know, a sibling romance anime, right? So yeah, great. Step-sister, step-brother. So it's incest. But it's really, really boring. Like, I haven't seen anime being this bad in years. This is the most boring anime that I've seen, right? But it has the most, like, disgusting, you know, tropey premise, right? Where it's like my guy, like a galu, you know, slutty garu sister that is into, you know, etch stuff, whatever. And this guy is like, oh yeah, and, you know, it's like the most like premise of a hentai, right, straight up. And she looks like a typical, again, Gairu, slut girl or whatever, and all this stuff, right? It looks ridiculous. The whole anime looks ridiculous, but the characters are so boring. Nothing happens. I must say they have to do it immediately. There's Mr. Kane or something, but something has happened. There's no fan service, there's nothing. There's no jokes in the anime. The best thing is two characters talking about really mundane stuff, while one of them looks like a stripper. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The premise makes it sound like it's supposed to be some kind of hardcore, you know, hen basically, but no, it's like the most boring, mundane anime ever. And I can't believe that anyone likes this anime, like seriously, right? And you know, one of my beloved enemies, he loves this anime. That has to be everything. If he likes it, genuinely, there has to be crap anime. Yeah, if the fraud likes it, it has to be a terrible anime. But it's just like, insane. Like, I'm just like, it's so boring. It is by far the worst anime, actually, last year. Because at least the other ones, RC, Uzumaki, so on, they are enjoyably bad. Right? You can watch them and laugh how stupid they are. But this anime is just boring, right? It's the worst thing you can be in any kind of show, right? Any kind of genre, medium, yeah. Video games, whatever, TV shows, so it's just boring. It's mundane. You're like, why would I watch this thing for? It's like painfully, torturally boring, right? Super terrible. What more do we have in the top animes before I go for the last ones? Have I forgot someone? I will say I don't see Frida in this list. Where is she? Why can't I see Frida in the list here? But anyway, Dungeon Meshi. I think anime is overrated. I will put someone here. Over here. So it's an anime about them, you know, exploring and eating food, right, D&D style. And I think it's pretty good. It's pretty enjoyable. And I do love her face, though. What's her name again? I pronounce Melekli, the elf. She got some really good meme faces. So yeah, it's pretty enjoyable. But I honestly understand people think it's the best anime ever. Yeah, a lot of people act like it's the 10 best anime ever or something. I really don't see it. I really don't see it. I think it's like a decent anime. But now I want to talk about Friden. I just can't find her. Obviously, Frieren is top tier anime. You know she's in the thumbnail, so it's no surprise that Frieren is gonna be in the absolute top 10. Let's go to the top, 3 basically. But I just cannot see. I didn't make the list, of course. I took someone that I found, which seems to have like all the animes, but there's so many choices. Yeah, there's so many choices. That's the. Like, I just can't find her. Jesus Christ. What image did you use for Frieren? Maybe if he's like, the Ray is fantastic. Let's put it down up here. So let's see if we can find. So now I'm getting frustrated genuinely. I'm like, what is it? Now I'm getting irritated. Like, what is it? So many animes. There's way too many animes. I don't know. Like, the list problem here is it's not in alphabetical order. The list doesn't make any sense. It's just like randomized. That's why it's so hard to find stuff too. That's Vistoria. Also good anime. Put it up here. Just me talking about them. Now I'm gonna throw up some anime that I want to talk about then while I'm doing this thing. It's like go back to Frieren later where I can find it. Holy moly! Like, where is it? Maybe they didn't put Frieren in the list, but that would be really weird. I don't see Bleach either for that matter, so this list is terrible. Yeah, it has like 100 animes, but it lacks the 2 most popular ones. Like, who made this list? And I checked before that it had most of the animes, but it does actually lack like Bleach as well, I think. Like the 2 most popular animes. Yeah, what? We're gonna improvise with that then. We're gonna throw my own stuff into it. But that is actually very strange. Huh. It's more anime. I do like Busha though. I also like the Kuro Maid. That's a good anime. This anime with the guy summoning small girls. Yeah, that was an interesting anime. Guys. Obviously, Mushenshi, coming to that later. I will shit a bit now then. Yeah, sorry about this, but I will make the list slightly easier to meet you to read now. So I put out some of the best picks now then. I'm talking about it like reversed. Easy to find them by doing that. Yeah, Spice. I think it was like decent remake. Maybe that's Frieren. I mean, it could be something you can't really recognize too, right? So it can be a little bit like that. But yeah, I'm just gonna jump a bit now, guys, just to make it easier. Honestly, but yeah, I can't actually see Bleach either, which seems like, why did I not check? Do you want the list with the most picks though? I'm lazy like that, so I just took the list. But yeah, golf anime. This one's pretty boring actually. Yeah. Pretty evil girl. Yeah. Oh yeah, this was pretty boring. Boring isekai boring. No, this one also was pretty meh for its premise. Where are we? Maid girl, little girl, army. Yeah, I can't see it, so I'm gonna throw it in later then. But okay, whatever. That's kind of we have then. Okay, that's one we have then. Okay, sorry about that. Should have said that list earlier. But this anime said they had all the animes, yeah. The thing is that, I mean, to my defense, right? When you Google this stuff and you find a team maker and it says like this has all the anime, you see like 100 choices. You're like, well, it looks a lot, so it probably has all the anime. So like, it doesn't have Frieren, that's the most popular anime. Maybe I just can't see it. I don't know. Maybe it's a weird image. There's some images that I can't tell what it is, honestly. I can't tell what this anime is supposed to be. This genuinely could be Frieren. There's an explosion here. There's some elf here, but I think it's more like the Chinese anime. There's some animes that I can't tell what it's supposed to be actually in the image. So it's a little bit like that, but whatever. So these 2 first, I love this anime, you know. Wait now. Danna-sama! Yeah, best opening easily, of course. We should make a top 10 opening list later. Opening, yeah. But yeah, obviously best opening, which is like singing, is the Irekumiya, right? You know, it's Queen Sundre sings the opening, and she's all like, Danna-sama! Danna-sama! It's a fantastic anime. Like, it's super funny. Like, I did not think this would be this Kai called Isekai. I only watched it, right, because, famous voice actors, which I really like as a main female character. Episode 1 is like, whatever, he gets like super powerful OP isekai, right? But she's like a really, really enjoyable waifu, yeah. His main waifu, right? She's so funny, man. She carries the anime by herself on her back, all the scenes, right? But yeah, Fenrir, or yeah, Fenris, yeah, he's hilarious, like genuinely hilarious every with her. All of her scenes are fantastic. 10 out of 10 scenes, man. And then they get like a Futanari dry, and then they get a Futanari magical followed Jin later as well. And then they have these two like bad guys, right? This like evil hero that turns evil, and like a stripper or something with him for some reason that he's managed to pick up random, and they basically turn into Team Rocket, and they dig holes. They literally do holes. So like it's actually because like a ridiculously funny anime. But it starts out really weird. Oh yeah, and the demon lord falls in love with his paladin girl and keeps like whistling them and tries to hit on his paladin. Yeah, it's like the anime starts like some kind of generic isekai, but immediately got this weird like slice of life comedy isekai. And genuinely, it's probably the best isekai I've seen this year after Konosuba, and he actually gets to get some hair somewhere. Like it's really funny. Like I was like, this anime is crazy. Yeah, but it's so weird too. It's really, really weird. Yeah, like oh my god, but. Yeah, main girl. Okay, so Vistoria, it's from the same author, like Danmashi. Has, first of all, really fantastic animation, right? It has some interesting animation too. When they're eating food, when he's reading books, so on. It feels a lot more alive than other anime does on this like similar like side scenes, which I think is really good. It basically is, kind of little Black Clover guy-ish. The guy can't use magic. Everyone else can use magic, right? He's a fighter with a sword instead. It mostly becomes like a tournament arc, I guess, the first season. If I to say. But it's a goddamn good tournament arc, though. Yeah, so it's a good tournament arc, right? Top core anime. I would say that I honestly probably almost enjoy it more than Dandan, but it's somewhere here probably. And yeah, something like that probably. I would actually probably do it here though. Chicken Knock is better though. But somewhere I honestly probably do actually prefer prefer it over Tapa. But he's amazing, okay? He's Futanari character, Jesus Christ, man. It actually is kind of weird now, but something like that. But okay, yeah, so we saw the living left, Tenshi. And I'm gonna throw in some bleach. We're gonna have bleach in it, yeah. Well, maybe the list doesn't have it because it started last. Let's see, that's that thing. Maybe it didn't have bleach in it because it's Bleach season 3, right? Maybe that's why. I get some bleach image here. Yeah, there's a bleach image there. And Frieren, of course, started actually. Frieren actually, of course, started the year before that. So it started 23, right? But I would say that the best part of Frieren, though, is actually this part, right? Actually, the part that we are in right now, by part 2. So. Let's throw Frieren in as well. Oh, the image was way bigger. But yeah, Frieren, she gets a bigger image here. Yeah. Important character. I mean, you see the thumbnail, you didn't get here. You obviously knew that I was going to have Frieren and Bleach in the top list. I mean, it's kind of like a given, right? You won't put yeah, it's a given. You're going to put like the top animes in your thumbnail, not talk about them later, right? They're going to obviously be highly ranked in your list, as it will be just weird, right? So go back to the list here again then. That means of course adjusted to roughly same size there, but the bleach one is way too big. Yeah, that one. There's somewhere here, right? Yeah, something like that. Okay. So how do we list this last thing then, right? And I feel I kind of listed most of the stuff here. I will actually put Butchan somewhere here though. It's a pretty good anime, but okay. But everything else here is basically mid, right? Like I said earlier, if it's so bad then I put it in trash, right? Yeah. If I don't touch it now, it's basically mid or like it's worse than mid, but not nearly enough to maybe hate it, right? Like how much I hate this anime or this anime. It's like not as bad as that, right? You know what I mean? But it's maybe I missed something here, but whatever, who cares? Let's go to the best animes then. So best animes, yeah. Mushoku Tensei, Solo Leveling, Frieren, Bleach, right? Okay. Now let's have a Solo Leveling. It's overrated, of course. It's overrated. Yeah, I don't think that's good. Solo Leveling is great. I'm watching it right now. It is probably the anime that I'm enjoying the most this season, straight up, right now. Yesterday, of course, watched it. R0, I suppose, will return this season. So R0 will probably be the one that I enjoy more. But yeah, it's probably the best sequel right now. 100 Girlfriend, that I just reacted to before the stream here, I also quite enjoy. I think 100 Girlfriend is a good anime too. I think it's a great anime. So, but it's definitely my top 3, whatever it is, too, right? It probably was like top 3 or so, its own season as well last year. But I don't think it is like this amazing, groundbreaking anime, the type of thing. And actually, I think my issue, but why it's not the best anime last year, honestly, is because I actually found it the best in the end, right? So I said in my review as well last year then, that I find that Solo Leveling got its prime, so to speak, when he got the powers, the Shadow Monarch powers, the Arise powers, right? Which happens, of course, in the end of season 1, right? There for me was when it really became great. That for me was like, okay, it gets better and better. That being said, I think it's a good thing though, right? When animes overall, of course, gets better the further they go, right? A lot of shows, obviously, I think most shows actually are the best in the beginning, right? And then it kind of fizzles out, and it's like bad pacing or bad power, whatever. Solo Leveling's best episode is one is the last episode, which I think is great, right? Because that means that it's gonna get better, right? So the current season 2 now, I think it's a lot better than the first season. So I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna have it in like the top thing, because I do think it is slightly weaker, and I probably put it actually somewhere here for me, actually, in the first season. But like I said, I think it actually is the best in the last episode, right? And so I'm much more enjoying season 2 than season 1, right? Season 2 has been, I think, much better than the first season, because again, I think the best part is when you get the Arise powers. So it was like it got better and better every episode, yeah. But again, that's a good thing though, right? Because it means that it gets better and better. I think most animes, like I keep saying, are the opposite, right? Where it gets worse and worse, and you're wondering, why am I watching this thing for? It's like Second Cost Fallacy. It's Second Cost. I'm watching it because I started watching it years ago, yeah. I'm only here because I watched the first 2 seasons, you know what I mean? I'm only here because how did it end? Like, I just want to see it end now. Like, One Piece forever. I do feel like One Piece, honestly, for most fans, genuinely are like that, yeah. I mean, I don't hate One Piece that much, but come on, like, I think for most people, genuinely, because of One Piece, a lot of millions of fans are kind of like, I think I'm just watching it now because I watched like 1,000 episodes. I gotta have to see it ends now. You have to just be like, please just end it, Oda. Please just end it. I just wanna see what the Void Center is about or something. Yeah, I think that is very true actually for those really long going shonens. But even for other shows that might have like 3-4 seasons, right? I think a lot of shows are like, oh yeah, I guess I can. I haven't watched season 5. I think the first 4 seasons, I guess I should probably watch season 5. Yeah, like. A lot of shows are like that, and I think it's honestly very hard, I think, to stop watching a show. If you see like 3-4, the Second Cost Fallacy, it's very hard to like drop a show after 3-4 seasons. Yeah, if you enjoy it enough, right, to get there. But anyway, so yeah, I like Solo Leveling, but it's in my top 10. But I would say it gets better and better, like I keep saying. So I don't think it's in the level here of these animes yet. You know what I mean? Comparable. So now we got the last top animes then, right? We got the Bleaching, we got the Frieren. Now Frieren, let's look at Frieren there. It's an interesting anime because Frieren, right? It started out like more of a journey to get, to see what's his name again? Himmel, of course. Makes sense because Himmel means heaven. So yeah, Himmel is Swedish for heaven. So yeah, her journey is like, oh wait, I have emotions now. I realized that I kind of like this guy. I was a foolish elf girl. Let me go and get my boyfriend back, in heaven, basically. So doing that, right? And the first part of the season is more like that. They're traveling around, her and her, daughter, right? Mom and girl who's traveling around, seeing the world, encountering people. And it is a good anime, absolutely, the first part. But I think the second part is much better. Second part is where it really, really shines, honestly, I feel. The first part has more emotions, that's true. It's more sad episode, it's a little more emotional. And the demon owning aura is funny, everyone loves that aura scene. But I think the next part is where it really, really shines, because honestly, I mean, even though I've seen so many shonen animes, whatever, right? Fear isn't a shonen, but goddamn is that Frieren tournament arc fantastic. The mage tournament arc, that was one of the best things I've seen in years. Yeah, that is so good. There are fighting, the cool powers, the tricks in the sleeves, and it is so enjoyable. Like the last, 5 episode of season part 2, right, so big, this year then, is fantastic, and definitely the best thing that I saw in that season, right? And then, like I said earlier then, in, I suppose, 2023, featuring a lot of emotional, sad scenes. So it's a great mixture, very likable characters. When I'm watching, I think what Fiend is so well when it comes to tournament arc is that you like every character. Yeah, you love every character. You want Frieden to win in her new, Sundra daughters, whatever they fight with her. Yeah, the two Sundra girls that clearly are in love. The roommates, the roommate girls, right? You want Frieden to win with her roommate girls, but at the same time, you see that old dude, he's just like, I'm gonna get my wife's grave. Yeah, I like this guy. Yeah, I like the old grandpa character, because I like him. You got Ebel, the crazy hot chick. Because I like her too, with Naruto that does the weird clone things that isn't even in the tournament. You're like, I like this guy, he's not even there. Yeah. So Frieren does it really well there, where you have a tournament arc and you kind of want everyone to win. You're like, I like all of the characters. Yeah, it's all likable goddamn characters. And so it was a fantastic tournament arc in so many ways. Also, of course, the actual animation and so forth, strategies, but especially I feel how I used to like all the combatants. Yeah, oh my god, I love them all. Yeah, it's really good. So Frieren to me, right, top anime. And then it also has a lot of these emotional build-up episodes in the earlier part of Frieren, right? And then, of course, it leads to, one thing also I think is really great is the fourth member, right? So Frieren has, I'm DPS, I'm mage girl, I'm mage daughter, and I've got this boy he's a tank-ish warrior guy, right? So they finally pick up a healer, right, in the middle of season, and then he leaves. Yeah, spoilers, but spoiler. He leaves, and I find that I was like, huh? He left? But he's the healer, yeah. I think that was really great. I was shocked by that, yeah. They spent 2 episodes recruiting this healer guy, right? And Frieden, he's just like me. He's not afraid of the outside. He's like me when I was hiding in the forest for 2,000 years. I'm gonna get this guy with the MILF attack. He likes MILFs. I'm a MILF help, and all that stuff, right? He spent all this time recruiting this guy, and then he leaves after a few episodes. I was like, what? You can't do this. You can't just spend all this time building up this new party member. He leaves immediately after. He met his friend, the gorilla guy, his statue, and then he's left. Yeah, I was like, that to me was just honestly really good writing, right? It felt like it was very subversive trope. Yeah, we spent all this time picking up the healer, recruiting the healer guy, building up his, confidence and personality and all this stuff, doing some MILF stuff with him, yeah, and everything. And then he's like, I tag you guys, I'm a hero now. And then he does something else. Like, what? Yeah, yeah, it was beautiful. And they also have the course Kraft, the other healer, also didn't join them. Yeah, the other elf healer guy. There was a previous hero that also is like, oh, whatever, I'm leaving, yeah. So, but I think that was honestly for me, what really made Frieren stand out as one of the best animes that they just spend this time on a party member that he's like, whatever. So I wish more anime do that, honestly, right? You can subvert the trope of them joining, yeah. Because almost every other anime end game, of course, we just make the character join, permanently. And of course, it can't be done too many times in a storyline. That'd be annoying, right? But I felt that there was actually much more how Frieren does it. Because Frieren is somewhat of a shonen, clearly still. Even if people is a shonen, but it is very shonen now, the tournament arc. But yeah, a normal shonen would never do that. So Frieren has a bit of a weirder take on a shonen trope, a little bit of parody, yeah, whatever you call it. But anyway, Bleach. Where's my braid? Where's my Yurichi, the waifu? She's here. Don't worry, guys. I got Yurichi on the panel behind me. Also Yurichi somewhere next. Yeah, Yurichi there, Also Yurichi, touching my Yurichi, very good. Also Yurichi close to me. Bleach, right? As always, the best shonen anime, best action. Bleach is really good. It looks fantastic. It takes everything that is done so well, right? I keep saying that every season is the first season of Tons of Blood War, but there's no other anime that is so good aesthetically like Bleach. Everything is so well done when it comes to that, right? How it's always just like, oh, they're moving this thing and they're fighting, and they're always doing these like really well animated scenes, right? How they're having these characters, like the text, they're fighting, someone punch someone, they bang to the wall, and then the bricks fall behind him, and it has a Bleach 37 or whatever, there's a blood splatting, and it turns into Bleach episode 11, yeah, that kind of thing and so on. It is so well done, and the color schemes and the fights and how it looks, animation, so it is, I think, the best looking anime easily this year, right? Visually speaking, is absolutely 10 out of 10. 100% the best looking anime, because it's not all about the animation, right? It's about the visual, the aesthetics, the silhouettes, the character design, It's about more than just pure animation, right? I think people are really terrible at honestly judging that, how good that anime looks, right? Because it's not about just like, oh my god, this fighting scene has this many frames, who cares, It's about all, the full package, right? You have to look at the aesthetics. You have to look at the presentation. You have to look at everything. You can't just look at one thing, no. So I think Bleach easily is the best visual anime by far. Just like last year, so he wins it like every year now. Yeah, he wins it like, and probably again will win it this year as well, right? Yeah, Bleach will very likely, of course, this will also win best visual anime of the year, like, very likely. So 10 out of 10 in that aspect. And this season had a lot of new like filler fights, so to speak, with their canon, but not in the manga. That was great. I think we want more of that, right? They're gonna have even more of that in the next season, as promised by Kubo, and we actually want that, right? And I always felt that Bleach done that better than like Naruto or One Piece or whatever, where One Piece is definitely the worst of doing this stuff. So One Piece filler, right, especially the later years fillers, are basically like we're extending some horse crap thing, or Ushiriku, Big Mom, whatever, right? Or we're extending this like ridiculously bad scene for like 3 more episodes. This is terrible. But Bleach filler, like in this last 3 seasons, are like, oh, we're taking this fight between like Renji and Ishida, and we're making it like 10 minutes long instead of 1 minute long. Yeah, they're taking like really cool fights, just making them better and badass and so on. So it's that kind of exactly the kind of filler you want in anime. And arguably it isn't even filler, right? It's more like this is a canon fight, but we're extending that fight, right, with really cool scenes. Which again, then, for example, in One Piece, they're like, oh, instead of having a cool fight scene, they're extending like, I don't know, some really bad jokes or something, which doesn't make any sense. Yeah, they all extend the worst stuff, right? So it's very, very cheap, right, in One Piece, the way they extend, the way they pace out episodes, right? So Bleach is the opposite, and it's so much better. To be fair, though, obviously Bleach has the advantage of being, a non-weekly anime, right? One Piece has been a weekly anime until this last year. So I think that, or I hope so at least, I think we all hope that One Piece will return, of course, this year with that Bleach quality of actually having a higher quality per episode, and then also, of course, have better pacing and so on. Of course, that, but very, very doubtful, though, right? Because One Piece last year, as every year, basically the strategy was, to have 9 episodes of total crap, right? And 1 good episode. I mean, absolutely. One Piece could be the list here if we only looked at, the Garp fight scene or whatever. It looks fantastic. I mean, I cried, the Garp. I mean, it's so beautiful. Garp, badass. I loved it. That was my favorite One Piece easily this year. But it's like, yeah, there's a great scene where Garp fights the other pirates. And I spoiled it about B pirates. But the rest of the episode is terrible, right? The rest of that month of One Piece, or 2 months or whatever, 3 months, whatever that been, has been terrible. Like the eps up to that point are like 1 out of 10 in quality, and there's like 1 episode is amazing. So that's been the strategy for the last 4 or 5 years, right? So the animation is terrible. And honestly, that also reminds me here, but it reminds me of, I don't see why people keep defending the Kaido fight so much, right? People love saying that the Kaido fight is amazing, but what I see every time is only mentioning the last 3 episodes, you know what I mean? But the Kaido fight is like 50 episodes long, and people keep saying, oh, it's a great fight. Yeah, but you're only referring to like the very last bit with Gear 5, right? And maybe some other scenes with like Yamato or something. But it's like most of that fight is really bad. Also from pacing, from action, from animation standpoint. Yeah, it has so many episodes that look absolute dog shit. But it's like, yeah, sure, there are some good as well, right? But it's terrible average score, right? So Bleach instead has like a great average score. Like every episode is like 9 out of 10, right? So it by far is the best looking and best paced anime. And like I said, everything that's like filler in Bleach, right, so to speak, is actually extending the canon. Over, let's give like, you know, Shushay more backstory. You know, it's like, oh, let's give Bass B more backstory. It's kind of like, oh, I actually want more backstory in this character. Yeah, it's never nothing in this season. It's like that season in Bleach has been like just random extending time, right? It's more like, oh yes, we're gonna like pace out this episode, sure, but we pace it out right with canon backstory that you actually kind of want to see, right? So it's like fantastic in every way, and it really is like the best shonen. But in the end, though, I have to say though, do I find it better actually than My Academia Season 7? Because My Academia is still like, it has all like the best scenes that season. It has all like the best moments of, you know, half the cast dying and so on. Yeah, it's so many like climax scene of that season. I really think that My Academia Season 7 has been fantastic, and I do find it more emotional than the Bleach is, honestly, right? So I am a little bit torn. I would say a little bit torn there, which I actually think is the better one of those two, because My Academia certainly I felt have, and they're also all actually kind of similar because they're both on like the second to last, you know, penultimate season, right? They have like one more season left, both of them, so they're very much like close to the end. And I think Bleach does a little bit of its own disservice of having just too few characters dying and so on, right? You know, and etc. And also you don't really care much about the quinches. Where in My Academia you actually do kind of care about some of the bad guys, like Toga and Dabi has some interesting backstory. So in that sense, I do feel like My Academia is like a better anime than Bleach. Double the episodes though. So I am honestly very torn, which I actually think is the best one. Because like I said earlier, I do think that My Academia does have like the best season probably it's had for years though. But Bleach is like I said, Bleach I think is better. You know, like every like season is really good. Where the last 3 years then, My Academia is like this season is fantastic, and if you go back to season, it's just pretty terrible. So it's like, in that sense though, I honestly kinda feel I kinda put in My Academia either the year or the. It's actually kind of hard, yeah. It's not that easy actually, honestly. Not honestly not. I find the emotion here is probably better. Some of the characters I care more about. It has Papandauer as well, best writing in Papandauer. So in that sense, I do feel it's slightly better though. So it is hard though, seriously. I kind of want to put My Academia in season 7 as like it's like penultimate season there. So I feel I can do something like this, guys. Oh no, it should be like what is it? Oh yeah, no, I got it. Oh yeah, did I said that? Yeah, kind of something like that. I was thinking if I can put it high, if we can change them despite it. I guess I can't do that without doing like this thing. And then I can pull the. But this is honestly hard for me. Yeah, this is hard. I am a little bit struggling if My Academia is slightly better or worse. But I think it is fair that I actually think that the My Academia endings are better. Because, I mean, it's just, I actually do care more about, especially Endower, of course, and his family, and those scenes, especially. Yeah, but I think this issue of Bleach, honestly, right? I really love Bleach, but I don't really feel like it had any, like, meaningful deaths or whatever, where you actually do care more about, for example, Bakugo's death and so on in My Academia, but also of course fix it. But that's the thing too, though. It's hard honestly, because My Academia also does a lot of like fake out deaths. It's like One Piece, yeah. It's a little bit like in both of those shows, right? It's like I guess My Academia had more emotional like death scenes than Bleach, but then they actually were mostly fake outs. I think about it, so I'm like, God damn it! But they were all fakes anyway, weren't they? Yeah, but they were all fake anyway. It's kind of hard this last bit here. But I do feel it's kind of like that, yeah, where I feel like now this is like the best time of the year. And then of course, lastly then, Mushoku Tensei Right? Mushu Tenshi, beating Frieren and so on. Yeah, let's be controversial here. Let's people hate me. Gonna be that there. It's a guy the Pansu. But I think it's very simple. There's no other episode. And there obviously be spoilers now, okay? Spoilers now. This is the perfect anime tier. This is all the animes. And spoilers now then. Obviously mega spoilers for Mushu Tenshi when his father dies. Right? There's no other anime this year that I feel even gets close to that, yeah. There's no other anime that I think had any other scenes that are as emotional as when, of course, Paul dies. That was a 20 out of 10 episode. There's been no other anime, I think, even remotely close to that episode. That was the most emotional episode. I had to call my own dad, you know. I had to call my dad, my mom, no. But I was like, oh my god, it's so sad. Yeah, like it has been for me easily like the top episode this year. Yeah, like it's a no-brainer. For all the other animes, nothing is close to the ending of the season, right? You know, so it is a fantastic episode. Really, everything else is just kind of trash, but it's just kind of like that. That to me is just really hard. Is otherwise to measure up, right? Because it's anime. Like genuinely speaking here, like Mushu Tenshi again. Pause that scene, yeah, best episode this year, like straight up. See, if I just judge it by just best episode, like singularity standpoint, Mushu Tenshi absolutely easily win. Absolutely best anime this year, or best episode this year. 100% when Paul dies. So, in that sense, okay, like best anime, easily. I think that has like a high value in it, right? Because no matter how I look at it, again, this is the most emotional scene, right? I value My Academia highly, right? Same thing there, because I feel the Endeavor, that scene with Dabe is also really, really high emotion. That's probably my number 2 scene, my second scene, when, Endeavor is crying and he's like, I'm sorry, and so on. And that scene is like number 2 for me. After very focused on dead parents here, yeah, fathers, yeah, very biased here, dead parents, yeah, no, but it's like it's fantastic scene, right, all along. So that bit potentially overall, like the last build up there for the dungeon, and then mom is like comatose, that her brain is fried and everything, so a really sad ending. But then also he gets like a kid in the very end, right? And Rudy goes to his father's grave and he's all sad, and it's like super sad. The last like 2-3 episodes are like fun. This is like 10 out of 10. It's fantastic. Then we have other stuff in Mushu Tenshi, which is just hilariously weird. So we have the whole that Rudy can't get, hard anymore. That's like 3-4 episodes. And honestly, I never saw this anime where the main guy is like, I can't get hard. And that's like the whole anime. And this whole episode thing goes with Sarah, right? And he can't get it up for her, and she like slaps him and so on afterward when he talks to Soldat on the street. And I was like, this anime is crazy. Like it's like comedy. It's comedy gold. I genuinely found it incredibly funny. The whole thing with Rudy and his penis stuff, and it's just ridiculous. The anime is just crazy. Yeah, the anime is so weird. No other author would ever write that. It is a weird anime, absolutely. It's just a weird anime. So that was great. And like I said, the ending was like the best thing this year easily, right? With the Paul mom thing. The last like 4 or 5 episodes, and when him and grandma are in the tent. I love it so much. When he gets like turned on by this like succubus thing, and then he's like dirty grandma Elinasi, he's married her granddaughter, right? And she's like, oh, you want to do it? And he's like lying in a tent with her. Oh god, no, god, I'm crying laughing. It's so a weird anime. Like it has the funniest, weirdest scenes I think last year as always. The anime is so weird and funny, and then it also has the most tragic scenes. He's the high on that and high on the comedy. Yeah, it's like high on both things there. It is such a weird anime. I will say though, to be fair, that some of the school episodes were as good. With Nana Horse going crazy, that's kind of interesting. So yeah, it wasn't bad, but it was like one episode that's kind of filler in the middle there. But then I get into him falling in love, of course, with his bro, with his wife. But the thing is that his wife is a man. I mean, it is like no, but I mean, for me at least, Mushu Tenshi, and maybe I'm just a crazy person, but I think it was the funniest anime basically after like Shukunoko and Konosuba. For me, it's like number 3 in comedy too, because I was like, my god, when he takes that Fritz Senpai is a man, so he's getting excited for Fritz. And he's like, oh yeah, maybe I like guys now, but it's actually his girlfriend, his first girlfriend. He can't understand it's her, and it is so stupid. And he thinks this guy is insane. Like, it's hard to explain how weird the anime is. The guy is spending like 2-3 episodes thinking he's gay because he likes an elf chick that he can't recognize as his old girlfriend. It's so weird. It's so weird. And then he goes out there, it's like incredible, sad death scene. With like the best written father in anime, after maybe Endowed. So yeah, the writing of Paul is fantastic, you know. He's a pretty shitty, terrible father, and that's why it's so good too, because Paul is like a really bad dad, right? Yeah, Paul is not a good father at all. Not really. That's why it's so good scene too, because you don't really like Paul. You're like, Paul, terrible dad, yeah. But then he dies, you're like, damn it, Paul, I miss you, yeah. No, but it's like, I like it so much, right? I mentioned a video about it last year, but because when you see Paul's writing, it's so realistic, because he really is like an actual father, like a pretty shitty dad, right? But he still is like, he loves his son anyway. So most of his stuff he does against Rudy is pretty bad parenting, right? But in the end, though, he's still willing to die for his son, right? Because that's like a good father, even though he's like a terrible, you know, influence on his son or whatever. He's like, well, I still want to, you know, protect my son, right? Yeah, so it just feels so real, because you're still kind of used to that, you know, goody two-shoe dad, right? Perfect father. Or just completely terrible, you know, Shoe Tucker dad, right? So Paul is like the best written father, because he's overall a bad parent, right? Overall a bad person, each kind of cheating his wife and so on, yeah. So overall, kind of a, you know, bad person, you know, generally speaking. But in the end, he does the right thing, right? And that makes it feel much more emotional than having the perfect father that feels unrealistic, right? Or just a terrible dad that would never do it, yeah. So he's incredibly well written, and the scenes just broke my heart so much, right? But overall, the build-up of him meeting his father and then with mom, and him being like, you're gonna save your mom, you stupid kid, what's wrong with you? And I was also the damage too, that he could never really love Rudy, right? And Rudy could never really love him, because, you know, Rudy's an isekai character, right? He's an isekai character. He can't really feel like Paul, his dad, because of the whole, you know, I'm reborn again. And Paul always kind of felt that his son was like a weirdo. Like, well, is my son actually a fatso in his kid? Yeah, like he always felt there was something strange with his kid, right? That there was some isekai shenanigans going on. He always expected something weird with Rudy. So they always had this weird wall between them because of that. And I kind of wish too that Rudy maybe would have told him in the end something, like before he died, like his death episode. That'd be interesting. And also, lastly, we can't forget when Paul is talking to Rudy, is saying that real men, they'll dual wield. He's like, dual wield, son. You're like, what is the guy talking about? Best dad ever. It's like, yeah, Rudy, it's either you have another girlfriend, you know, that Roxy chick also wants you. You know what your dad did when I was your age? I was a dual wielder. And he has like two swords, like dual wielding. Like, I'm a dual wielder. Oh god, best dad ever, man. It's just like, yeah, do them both, boy. Do them both. Make your dad proud. Like, it's terrible. Like I said, he's a terrible influence to his son. Yeah, terrible role model. Oh god, man. Paul is an interesting character. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, Paul wins it. Anime of the year. That's it, guys. The perfect tier list. The real anime awards are finished. Like I said earlier, right, the other animes here in the bottom, if you go down to them again, they don't really care. They're all like mid. There's like 50 more animes here, and I don't care about a single one of them. It's like, you know, Isekai. Oh, this one's so bad. Okay, actually, it's trash too. Then if Isekai is terrible too. Oh, I have no emotion Isekai. I got death matter Isekai. Isekai that is like, you know, what's more Isekai. Isekai, you know, some random rom dating. Evil Otome girl kind of thing. Reverse Mamo-sama, Isekai, Otome. It's like Isekai dating. It's some kind of either fantasy or Isekai. This is the guy, he's like level 100, but there we go, point. Oh yeah, he thought a butcher Isekai, yeah. Like, Isekai. Who cares about them? They're all kind of mid, right? But I wouldn't say they're necessarily trash, because they're written right. And maybe I forgot some other anime. Yeah, there's one other anime that I haven't seen this list here, and that is 2D Girl, which actually was not the best anime. I don't see 2D Girl anywhere, but 2D Girl, I'll say before I forget about it, actually had, to me at least, a surprisingly actually pretty interesting storyline, when they're focusing on her father, the Gyro. So the fourth girl in 2D Girl, right, is a hot gal chick, and her dad's backstory has been interesting. They actually got pretty emotional when they got into the last of Centurion at Comic-Con. But I can't find it. Whatever, it's over here. But yeah, 2D Girl, not the best anime, but actually surprised me how better it got, I suppose, in the end, right? But anyway, guys, that's it. What do you guys think? Obviously, I'm correct. This is a 100% accurate list. Every list is wrong, clearly. And, like, the retention, man, it really covered me quickly. Yeah, I got the end here. I don't know. There's more to say about that, right? Yeah. Mutenshi, best anime, easily. Frieren, also fantastic anime, not exactly as good though. Both My Academia and Bleach, amazing shonen, right? And they both have the ultimate feel to it. Characters are dying, it's very dramatic, great fights. And our scene is really solid to me though. Konosuba, best comedy is always right. Dear Girl, second best comedy, insanely funny anime. Ushinoku, right? Fantastic anime too. Drama, cat storyline. At Zero, really good, but clearly it's part 1 or part 2, right? Not really climax yet. Dalmasha, fantastic anime, really. 5 amazing. Freya scene, reversing everyone's memories, really interesting season actually. Solo leveling, I really love it at the end, right? Where Satori is right now, yeah. I'm loving it, the powers, Shadow Monarch, Arise, but again, it happens at the end of season 1. So, it's good, not as good. Isekai, where the guy gets the coolest wife ever, Reese, Fenris, Danna-sama, freaking 10 anime, Dan, weird, confusing anime. No, but it's fun. It's fun, very surprising anime, unexpected anime, it's enjoyable, but I don't think it's that amazing. I don't think it is 10 anime, I think it's mostly very shock value anime. Vistoria, surprisingly good anime. Demon Slayer, season 4, weakest season, but has some amazing scenes, especially the last episode. Mind Punch, I think, surprisingly good actually for what it is, yeah. Fun YouTube creation. The main character being really evil, I loved it, yeah. She is straight up like a terrible person. She's trying to become a big YouTuber, and it makes perfect sense, yeah, it's perfect. Slime, very strange, right? Terrible part 1, really good part 2, I guess in the mid. Ranma, also decent, right? Very censored, but otherwise well done. But a remake, Isekai Squad, you gotta have some little DC lore for it. Muscle Mama Trading You, also again. I think this for me is like personally one of the best anime I saw last year, right? But I really do enjoy my muscle trainers, so if you're into badass waifus training you, yeah. That's kinda it, right? Of the top anime, guys.